Right, so we're gonna get ready to start with the lesson. All praise to the Most High. Shalom, which means peace in Hebrew tongue. The lesson is children adultery. So the first scripture I want is Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12. And that's in the Holy
Isaiah,
Bible for those that don't know where it is. It's next to Ecclesiastes, Isaiah 3 and 12.
Isaiah 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressor,
Right.
and women rule over them.
So what we have in the single parent household is women without a father, without a father figure for their children, in the household. So the child, specifically a boy, is going to be subject to emotional reactions to things. When his mom gets upset, he's going to react in an emotional way, which leads to so-called stabbings, fights, shootings, etc., etc. The daughter now, she's not going to have a male figure to look for a husband or for a positive male role model. So she's going to look to MTV, YouTube, all these outlets for a man to show her how a man should be, right? You might get the drug dealers, the people that do scams, the people that maybe shoplift or do crime or whatever the case may be. So the world is turned upside down. So we're going backwards. The Lord set up for a man and a woman to be together, not for the women to raise the children by themselves, whether it be the man leaving a household or whatever the case may be. These are curses pertaining to the Bible. So if you can hold that scripture there, we'll go back to Isaiah 3 and 12. I want to show everyone the curses in the Bible that pertain to the single parent household. So if you can get for me Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 54. I'll only be sharing the screen regarding the videos relating to adultery and children, not regarding the scriptures. Everyone should have their Bible or the Bible app to go and look up the scriptures themselves.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 54. And it read, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and towards the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
No, he's going to stay in a household.
Which he shall leave.
So, hey, the Lord said he's going to leave, right? So without any type of conscious mindset or any type of wanting to stay in a household, as a curse pertaining to the Israelites, one of the curses how we can identify that we are the Israelites is that there's no father figure in the household. Most of our friends didn't really have a father in the household, right? The whole classroom probably only had one child that had a father in the household. That's how bad it was, especially when I was growing up. Nowadays, we're seeing a law kind of easing up on the single parent household, and we started to see our so-called black men, our so-called black women together for the most part, more than it used to be. But this is still a curse that pertains to the children of Israel, the man not being in the household, i.e., the children are going to suffer. Right? You're going to get what child support. They don't really do it over here that much, but they do it a lot in America. You get your passport taken away, right? These are things pertaining to the children, the man, and the woman, right? You kind of go into your enemy, right? Go into the court system to tell them that this man's not taking care of his children. When you're both two grown big adults who lay down together in a bed and had a child, right? And this is why the Lord said you got to prove a friend. It's not everyone you lay down with. It's not everyone you bring in the house. It's not everyone you make your friend, right? Because you're potentially messing up the child's life. So now you got to struggle. Now you got to have your uncle around. You got to have your big brother around. You got to have some type of father figure who's not going to be there as much as the father is and should be there because that's not their child. They only can do as much as they can. So these are the curses that pertain to the Israelites. So we can go back to Isaiah 3 and 12.
On.
We're just warming up. This is a serious topic, subject, whatever you want to call it, children and adultery. And they kind of merge into one. And I'm going to show that today by the grace of the Lord.
Book of Isaiah 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressor, and women rule over them. O my people, they which led thee caused thee to err.
Yeah,
And
man. That's it, man. Right? And our people are erring as a nation. right? We're in error, right? Let me get Jeremiah 4:22, right? Because our people are wise to do evil, but to do good, it's like they got no sense, no knowledge. They're happy about being a single parent single parent mother, or having a single parent household. Right? I can claim, was it child benefit? Right? I just signed that the man's not in my life, XYZ. We don't even know this is our oppressor, uh, uh, pushing our women against us. Now it's a competition, the man against the woman. We never used to be like this, right? One book everyone should check out is the Willie Lynch letter. Right? They put the man against the woman, the child against the mother, the child against the father, tall against the short, right? And so on and so on. The light against the dark. All these things are not our custom to do, right? So yeah, we got to wake up and we got to get together, even if it's just a remnant of us, right? Because the Lord said only a remnant are going to repent and return. Not all our people are going to wake up. So if people are not listening, you're telling them how to move and how to do certain things, and they're not listening, you got to leave them, right? We're not begging no one to. This is another thing as well. We're not begging no one to keep the commandments of God. We're not begging no one to believe in God. It's either you believe or you don't, or you want to do research. Then obviously give that person grace and time. But we're not begging no one to believe in the Most High God. You can read that, brother. The scripture is cool.
Jeremiah 3 and verse 22. Return, ye backsliding children,
All
and
right.
I,
Salaki, I called Jeremiah 4:22, but read that anyway. That's a mean precept. I love that scripture you just brought out. Jeremiah 3:22.
Jeremiah 3 and verse 22. Return, ye backsliding children,
Yeah, that's the
and
spirit. We're talking about children, right? Return you backsliding children. And we're the children of Israel, right?
gone, gone.
Even if you want to go into it, that's twofold. Our children that are disobedient, hey, they need to return. You backsliding children, right? Any type of way you want to hit, we can get. If you're gonna go to the children of Israel, us as a nation, we're the children of Israel, we need to return. And our actual children who are disobedient, they want to bunk off school, they want to listen, they don't want to do what's right. You lot need to return. Sagging your pants, right? You want to go and link a girl, do what you do with her, and then just throw away. These are things that are not pertaining to our people, right? That's why you need a man to lead a young girl and a young boy, and you need a mum as well. You need both of them, right? But when a man's not in a household, it's a big loss for the woman, for the children. And this is how it wasn't meant to be, right? The man and the woman meant to dwell together, if possible, if possible. But the child still needs the father in their life. Sorry. You can read that again from the top, please.
Return, ye backsliding children, and I will heal your backsliding. Behold, we come unto thee, for thou art the Lord our God.
Yeah, the Lord said He's gonna heal our backslidings. Right. Before you get Jeremiah 4:22, I want to get a scripture that goes with that. Let me get Isaiah chapter 1 verse 5. Because
Gone,
our people are sick, they're sick, spiritually sick. And it's only the Lord that can heal them. You can talk to them from now to the dusk or to dawn. You can talk to them from now until next year. If the Lord don't want them to wake up, you're talking to a brick wall. You're wasting their time, right? That's what the Lord said after first and second admonition rejects. After the first and second correction, if you see they're not listening, they don't really want to believe in the Most High God. They don't really want to take this truth seriously. You kind of got to leave it to them, right? And ultimately pray for them. Really, what you got to do, pray that the Lord will wake them up, because our people are sick, spiritually sick. We want to triumph in money, cars, looking down on one another. But you never look down on the other nations. You never look down on the Chinese man. You never look down on the Arabian man who's making deals with Trump, billion-dollar deals. You never look down on him. You never look down on a so-called white man who's printing money like it's going out of style, right? You never look down on the East Indian man who's hacking your phone and calling up for scams every second, asking you, do you need this? You never look down on those people who got nuclear missiles and who've got military power. But you always look down on one another, and that's a sickness. That's what the Lord said in Jeremiah 3:22. If we come back to Him, He's going to heal us, right? Isaiah 1:5.
Isaiah 1 and what?
1:5.
Gone. Isaiah 1 and verse 5, and it read, why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The old head is sick,
Let me get
and
that again from the top, please. As they say in the
gone,
dance, reload that, right? Pull up that.
gone.
In righteousness, pull up that scripture in righteousness.
Why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The old head is sick, and the
Jeez.
whole heart faint.
Yeah. What else, King? Go on, go on. What else?
From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wound and bruises and put, put, putrefy, putrefying sore. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with
Right,
on,
man.
on
Yeah,
ointment.
because our people like you see how cold the Bible is, how serious the Bible is. The Lord's comparing our sickness, right, to someone having a wound and he hasn't had no modifying plaster. You ain't put a plaster in your cut. You ain't put no ointment to heal it. You ain't done nothing. That's how our people
On,
are. It's like we're walking around with open wounds, right? Spiritually, we're just spiritually sick. And that's why we need Christ, right, who died for our sins to wake us up and to show us the light, right? He is the word of the Most High God. Right? Our people are walking sicknesses or walking around with sicknesses that they can't see, right? I want to get one more precept on that, right? And that's why I love the Bible, you know. I love the Bible, right? Let me get the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 16, verse 12. Right? Wisdom of
on,
Solomon 16 and 12. Right? You read it in this, they're saying the same thing. The prophets are saying the same thing. That's what the Lord said from precept upon precept. The Bible is like a puzzle book. You put the puzzle together. But if you read it for the first time, you read from Genesis all the way through to Revelation. Right? We started off where we was reading Jeremiah. From Jeremiah, we got a precept in what Isaiah. From Isaiah, now we're getting a precept in Wisdom of Solomon. Right? It's like you're linking up the dots. Right? Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 12, please.
on.
And for those who don't know what Wisdom of Solomon is, that's in the Apocrypha, the Red Book. You can get it on your Bible app. You type in KJV with A. So KJV with the Apocrypha on your Bible app, and you'll see Wisdom of Solomon. Or you can just type in Google Wisdom of Solomon 16 and 12.
Wisdom of Solomon 16 and verse 12. And it read, for it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health,
All right.
but thy word, O Lord, which healtheth, that healeth all things, for thou hast power of
That's
life,
it. That's it, King. Now go on, you
con-
finish up, finish up. As soon as you finish, you start reading. Finish up.
power of life and death. Read
Go
on,
on. Yeah. You might as well just finish
verse
it. That's right.
13. For thou art power of life and death, thou leadest to the gate of hell, and bring it up again.
Yeah, man. So the Lord said, listen, yeah. It wasn't no modifying plaster. It wasn't no herb. It wasn't none of these things that restored us to health. As we read in Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 22, if we return unto the Lord's going to heal us. So all the herbs and everything else that you lot are taking or whatever, that's cool to take and whatnot, plasters and everything else, but it's the Lord that's going to heal you to health, right? And the precepts link up, right? The Lord said, by that precepts to get understanding through the mouth of David, right? So yeah, we just got to understand we got to be healed spiritually, physically, mentally, right? Because mental health is a big downfall, a big negative in our community as well, but we don't like to talk about. And it affects our children also as well, right? Mental health. They might be going through certain things. They might want to talk to someone. They're on their laptop every day. They're on their computers every day. Have a conversation with them. Play some Monopoly, some Connect Four. Go for like maybe a jog with them, a walk with them, right? Do a word search with them, right? Do things with them to occupy their mind so they're not constantly just on a phone and a tablet. These are the things we got to understand. We got to realize, man, right? Our children are our future. Yeah. So we've got to wake up and do what's right. We can't be sharing them wrong things. All right. You're seeing half naked women walking down with their children. That's promoting adultery, especially if she's with another man. Because men is going to see that and lust after them. Right. And the children are seeing that. And that's why I'm linking up these two, adultery and children, together. And Lord willing, we can see how it meshes together. So Also, the Lord can wake us up out of hell, which just represents the grave, a dark place. Hey, a condition really, right? When you're going through hell, you might have lost your job, you're going through hell. I'm just catching hell, right? You might hear Jake and Eve saying that, right? Our people saying these type of phrases, right? It's the Lord that can take us out of these places and then bring us up again to righteousness, right? To godliness, right? You might get a new job or whatever the case may be. Right? Let's get Jeremiah 4:22 because we had to get all
Jeremiah,
those precepts. We had to get all those precepts. We're back on track now,
um,
Kat. We're back on track.
Jeremiah 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are
Yeah.
wise. Come,
God, reload that again, God. The Lord said you lot are stupid children, especially you lot don't want to serve him. You lot don't want to do what's right. The Lord said you lot are stupid children, right? No understanding. This is how serious the Bible is. Certain verses I never even saw until I read the Bible for myself. When you go into that word sotis, it just means stupid.
come.
Look, you lot are stupid children, right? Because you're wise to do things and you're unwise to do other things. And it's always the other things that you're unwise to do, which the things that can benefit you. But the things that can't benefit you, that's what you're going to glorify in, right? Go on, let me get that again from the top, please.
Jeremiah 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil,
They are
but
what?
they are wise to do evil, but
Come
to
on.
do to do good. They have no knowledge.
Let's see what our people, the children, yeah? So, one
Read
second.
on.
Hold on. Let me just get the audio first.
Come,
We're going to go back to that in a minute. Let's see what our
Come on
people are
and get
wise
your
to do.
chain back.
Head and Shoulders Derma
This is the young children, more than likely no father in a household. Right.
X
come,
Pro
come.
with ceramide complex
I believe our Haitian brother.
to lock in moisture for up to 72 hours.
Get your chain back. Come on and get your chain back. Get your chain back. Come on and get your chain back. Jack Doherty. Come on and get your chain back. Blah, original chain snatcher. I want it, I take that. If you got your shit took, I'ma be the one to call Big Z. I need everything, yeah, I need it all. Stepper, I be stepping, don't need no weapon. Anyone who disrespected me, they learned their lesson. I'm reckless, but I'm precious, so I'm protected. I see goofy shit everywhere, it's detected. What the fuck, bro? On block, not no Tetris. Long live all of my guys. Snatching chains is a way of life. Won't get unalived, I will never die.
Where's yours? What the?
Jack Doherty got his jewelry too. On block, he thought shit was sweet.
And that's it, because you can't listen to no more, man. I was kind of twitching, listen to that foolishness. This is what the Lord said. Our people want to try
Come.
and stuff like that.
All right.
I kind of feel a bit cringe, kind of feel a bit nervous watching that. He's making a song about taking someone's chain, right? And as I said, that's our brother from Haiti, right? If those who don't know where Haiti is in the Caribbean, right? Off, man. Right? Chiefly from the tribe of Levi, right? You got wicked people from all the tribes, right? And this is what our people are wise to do, right? This is why we need fathers in a household. Why
Come.
you go and work and buy a chain instead of snatching someone's chain and making a song about it, incriminating yourself also as well? If that's not a parody, let's get Jeremiah 4:22 again.
Come.
People are
Jeremiah,
sick, Our people are sick, very sick. Go on, King.
Jeremiah 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish, they have not known me. They are sottish children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil,
Who's
but
that man? Who's that young man? What is he?
they are wise to do evil.
Yeah, man, making a song about snatching someone's chain. That's wise to do evil, right? You can lose your life trying to steal someone's chain. Some people will die behind their chain, right?
Come.
So it's wise to do evil, but come on.
But to do good, they have no knowledge.
Now, if someone came up to him and said, look, with the Israelites, you got to keep the commandments, right? You got to keep the Sabbath day holy. You got to grow out your beard. You don't want to hear that. That to him is foolishness. To him, that's evil. You saying that to him, right? Because he's wise to do evil. So when you're not speaking things that are evil to him and you're speaking good things to him, he's on the opposite side, right? As the scriptures say, they're of the world, right? So we can't hear them, they can't hear us. And we pray for our people same way, man. But as we know, only a remnant of our people are gonna wake up, man. Right? And this is what we have to
Ah,
do regarding our children. Let me get Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. If someone can scribe as well, please put the scriptures in the chat. Proverbs 22 and 6. Because we got to raise
Proverbs
up our
20
children. Give them a second to get. Give them a second to get. You got that
uh,
quick word.
and
in the spirit.
Slakia, can you hear me, King?
Khan,
Yeah, yeah. Someone,
Can't.
someone be a scribe
Uh,
as well, please. Yeah. Proverbs 20, 22 and 6. Go on, King.
Khan.
yeah,
I would,
man. No, you're so right because like this whole snatching and chain thing has been going on for a long time. Like I remember when Nines was doing it. Like a lot of men do it, but they do this snatch the chain and floss what they've got. It's upsetting, you know. But it made me think of that precept that Isaiah 1 and uh 23.
Go. Yeah, man. My comments on the brother Yarden, man. Shalom, Yarden, as well. But yeah,
Shalom,
man,
King.
we got to do right by our children, man. Seriously, you got to do right by our children because we're showing them stupidness, man. Right? Showing them
you
evil,
want, you
right?
want Isaiah now or Proverbs?
No, I didn't quote Isaiah. That was
No,
Yarden. He's saying that was a
my brother
precept.
just same of a precept, yeah.
No, he said it reminds him of that precept.
Oh,
Yeah,
Khan.
if he wants to get, he can let me know. But yeah, get Proverbs 22 and 6.
Yeah, I'm there. Proverbs
Go.
22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Yeah, man, that's the basics. Train up your young prince, your young princess. Train them up with reading, writing. Right, you might take them gymnastics, um, play the instruments, boxing, karate, swimming. There's so many things you can do, so many activities. You can sign them up to like a multiple amount of activities, right? Some of them at the gym, some of them at like the swimming pool, some of them at the little what back in the day we had a boys brigade and the girls brigade. We go camping and certain stuff and do certain things, right? Learn certain skills to be out in the wildlife. These young children don't know nothing about being in the wildlife or being outside. Right? They kind of get upset or get scared when they see a little spider, right? Back in the day, we used to pick up a spider or to kill a spider quick. Nowadays, it boy, innit? Listen, we got to come back to this Bible and serve the Lord before it's too late. That's the main message in all this. Let me get Sirach 30 and 3. That's in the Apocrypha. Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus 30 and verse 3.
Book of Sirach 13 and verse 3.
Yeah, 30, 30 and 3.
Khan.
Yeah.
Slack here. Book of Sirach 30 and verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and
Yeah, because listen,
before
Salaki, hold it there. Because listen, yeah,
Khan,
all when I take my son to primary school, even now in secondary school, you can see the teachers don't like it, you know. When a man's come to pick up, especially a young black man, that so-called black man, yeah, an Israelite man, right? My brothers might get onto me, right? An Israelite man come to pick up his son or his daughter with the fringes on, the beard, right? You think they like that? No matter what nation, if it's a so-called Chinese man, so-called East Indian man, so-called white man, they don't like to see that. They expect to see what they show in the adverts when you have the sister with the children and they're by themselves. You know how much times I see an advert and you see a sister and she got the children, but there's no man. But then you'll see in the same advert a European man, a European woman, and a European child, right? So-called like that. Right? You see them, right? The Caucasian together. But when anytime you see a sister, a so-called black woman, she's by herself. In most of these adverts, or it's in an interracial marriage, which is a sin according to the Bible, right? We're meant to stay with our own people. But this is what they hate to see, right? The dad in the life of the child, whether they're together or not. As I said, sometimes it might not be expedient to be together with the person you're with or you had the child with, but the child still has to be in the father's life. Can't be putting them on child support, going to the heathens to get money. You two work out something for the betterment of your child, right? Whether it worked or it didn't work, hey, let that go. whatever happened, if there was any infidelities or whatever the case may be, now you got a child before that infidelity, so you got to make it work for the child. Right? Yeah, that wasn't right. Whatever happened, XYZ, if that's the reason why you lot weren't together. But the main thing is you got to do it for the child, because the enemy don't like when they see the dad coming to pick up the children. I see their stares, man. I see their looks. Oh, why is he doing it, man? Why is he? And I look like I'm austere. I'm not really here to play games. Know what I know, and my son knows what he knows, and they don't like stuff like that, right? They just expect us to go from, or our children to go from the school system to the prison system. I think it's called something pipeline, right? School to prison pipeline, right? They kind of have the chairs set up the same, the lunch trays and everything. It's all serious, you know. So when the dad's not in the life, right? When the mum's not in the life, when they're not two together, it's more likely they'll go down that road. And that's why most of these low income areas, you have these schools. I don't know if anyone knows about the Harris Academy or Harris Federation. You've got some in Peckham, some in Norwood. The man went and bought up loads of schools, and there's loads in loads of poor areas, right? And it's mostly black children going to the school. And guess what? Mostly Edomite head teachers, right? From Harris Academy Peckham, Harris Academy South Norwood, Harris Academy Crystal Palace, Harris Academy Bula Hill, Harris Academy Bermondsey,
Chatham.
Harris Academy Streatham, right? Harris Academy in Birmingham, right? You got loads of Harris Academies. I think you got another one in Crystal Palace to wear green blazer. If I didn't say Crystal Palace really, right? They wear green blazer, Harris Academy, Crystal Palace. Man bought up loads. I went and researched his name. Some Edomite, pink as hell, right? So they're targeting our children. They're quick to call them ADHD, say they got a problem, they're fidgety, right? We learn different. Some of our people don't learn good with academic skills, right? They might be hands-on, like DIY, right? A mechanical, whatever the case may be. This is another thing as well. You got to look at your child's talent and whether it is you push them towards that, right? They might be a musician, right? They might be a gladiator. They might not be academic. School might not be for them like that, right? Just let them get their grades, but you focus on what they have been gifted by the Most High as a talent. Let me get that again. Sirach 30 and 3.
Ecclesiasticus 30:3, otherwise known as Sirach. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friend he shall rejoice of him.
Yeah, man, your friends say, yeah, well, I'll go on C, or I'll go on D, or whatever the case may be. Yeah, your son's doing his thing, man. Your daughter's doing her thing, man. I see her doing good in school. You're going to feel glad. You're going to feel happy. You're going to rejoice, man. Right? Supply teacher might come and shake your hand and say, yeah, is that your son? Is that your daughter? Okay. They're doing really good. They're really smart. So you're going to rejoice because you trained them up. Right? You kind of read the scriptures. You kind of prayed, kind of fasted, kind of repented. And the Lord's giving your child a better upbringing than you had. Right? Every parent should want a better upbringing than they had for their child, man. Your child shouldn't be still doing the same things that you're doing, right? Kind of have to struggle and bustle and do certain things, right? You should have certain things set up for them, right? So they're in a better position than you was, Lord willing, right? We can get the book of. Actually, read on. There's loads more on this. So,
verse 4. Though his father died, yet he is as tough. You were not dead.
Yeah, so the Lord said, yet he is as though we were not dead, right? You kind of leave behind your seed, man. He's just like you, right? Leave behind your name, just like you, right? So all praise to the Most High, man. Children is a good thing to have children, you know? Don't be shy and think out, hey, it's a good thing to have children, right? Kind of rejoice your wife, kind of rejoice you, right? Children are good. Right? Don't be ashamed. Oh yeah, why she have to be pregnant? Don't have this type of mindset, this type of spirit on you, man. Right? That's what happened when a man and a woman lay down together. Expect a child. Right? Go on, King.
So his father died, yet he is as though he were not dead, for he had left one behind him that is like himself.
Woo! That's what Esau hates, you know? When you leave behind a seed that's just like you. So now he's got to wait another 50, 60, 70 years of going through hell, right? Or someone that's righteous, someone that's a renegade, Someone that's a vigilant, God-fearing man. They don't like that. Putting loads of stumbling blocks, snares, and traps, and it's overcome them, overcome them, overcome them. To the point where the Lord's just mocking them. Right? So many stories I could tell right now, but we're just gonna continue with the lesson, man. Again, children, adultery. Right, we're gonna segue. Don't worry, we're gonna segue into adultery. Don't worry. Right, we're focusing on the children right now. So, verse 5, please.
Verse 5. While he lived, he saw and rejoiced in him. And when he died, he was not sorrowful.
Yeah, Mark, you know your son's gonna be just like you. Right? The grave is not even bitter to you. Son, just like you. Might even be even more militant, right? Even more stern, right? All your mistakes, you showed him from when he was young, so he's not even making the mistakes. This is how beautiful it is to have a child raised up and that's hearkening and listening to your instruction in righteousness, right? Even more in righteousness, right? So children's a good thing to have children, but you got to raise them up righteously, godly, and in order, right? Discipline and correction, right? And showing them what's right, showing them what's wrong, letting them learn from your mistakes so they don't have to make the same mistakes, right? Go on, brother.
Verse 6. He left behind him an avenger against his enemy, and one that acquired kindness to his friend.
Come on.
Verse 7. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wound, and his bowel will he trouble at every cry.
Yeah, man. You don't want to always be like walking on eggshells with your children. You have to be stern and firm with them. Okay, anytime they're gonna cry, you go, oh, what's going on? Is you all right? Little Sammy, how are you, Sammy? Right? Or little Jerome, what's going on? Are you all right? I mean, how can I help you? You don't want to be a servant to your children, not like that anyway. Right? You look after them or whatnot, but you have to have them in order. 8:30 for bedtime is 8:30 for bedtime. Right? You have certain things in place. If you want to give them maybe a little leeway the Sabbath day or whatever the case may be, give them a leeway, they're not good in school, hey, that's down to your discretion. But there has to be rules in the household, man. There has to be discipline, right? You tell them to clean their room, they got to clean their room. Tell them to help out with the cooking and that. You show them certain things because it's all things to benefit them when they're older as well, right? Shouldn't be 17 years old and you don't know how to boil an egg, right? Shouldn't be 18 years old and you just latching onto your mom and come on, you have to go out there and do what you have to do, go to college and look for a job and do certain things. When I was young, I was a paper round boy, right? Self-sufficient, kind of making my own money, right? Didn't last that long, but yeah, hey, I was a paper round boy. So praise to the Most High. We got to kind of give our children activities and little jobs to do, right? See them on the computer too much, on the game too much, right? You might go and paint the room. Come, we're gonna go and paint the room, right? Put in little dungarees or little old clothes or whatever the case may be. Give them an outfit to wear, and you kind of get in. That's the activity for the day, right? Go and play football, baseball, table tennis, snooker, tennis, backgammon. You're giving them things to do, so they're not totally reliant on their phone, right? AI, relying on this tablet thing, games and computer games, right? Give that a break, right? Now it's time to do things like painting, right? Arts and craft. So many things you can introduce to your children, right? You can go on, brother.
Verse 8. An ass not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful.
And you don't want a willful child, right? You don't want a child that's doing what he wants to do, just willful, right? Yeah, I don't know. My mom never said to do anything, or my dad never said to do nothing. You want to train them up to use their initiative, right? We're gonna come back to Sabbath 30 because there's a lot in there I want to touch. Let's get Ephesians 6 and 1, and then we can get Exodus 20 and well, let's get Ephesians 6 and 1 first.
Ephesians 6 and verse 1. And it read, Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise.
Yeah. Yeah. The Lord said, honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise. So let's go to the commandments. Let's get Exodus chapter 20, and we're gonna start from where we at? 12. We can start from 12. Exodus 20, 12.
Exodus 20 and verse 12.
Right, because Ephesians is basically quoting the book of Exodus where the law is written, right? Paul's writing, and he's saying it's the first commandment with promise. Now we know the first commandment, thou shalt have no other God before me. So let's see what the first commandment with promise is. And that's why it's good to read and to go through the scriptures and take your time. It's not a Harry Potter book. Take your time when you're reading the scriptures. Exodus 20 and 12, please.
Exodus 20 and verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Right. So the long life is you honoring your father and your mother. The Lord's going to give you long life if you honor your father and your mother. That's what the first commandment with promise is. Right? Chiefly, it's not the first commandment, but it is the first commandment with the promise. The promise is love, long life. Sorry. Right? Go on, brother.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt
So
not steal.
hold it there, hold it there, hold it there, hold it there, hold it there.
Quran.
The Lord said, "Thou shalt not kill." You got a lot of the young children killing each other, stabbing each other, right? Trying to get down their ops, trying to steal chains, like we saw in a video just a minute ago, and making a song about it and dancing. Now, say that guy who stole the chain of is a serial killer now, or he's on some revenge thing, or he's just thinking, boy, I want to kill myself, or I want to kill someone else, or whatever the case may be. You're basically mocking that person. That's all you're doing to them, right? And you might promote them, or you might cause them, sorry, to actually commit a murder, right? By your promotion of the song, right? These are the things we got to understand. We got to realize, man. We can't leave our children to be willful, as we just read in Sirach chapter 30. Now he's making songs talking about I'm a chain snatcher, and I got your chain, and come get your chain back, mocking, And we wonder why there's so many school shootings. We wonder why there's so many people getting stabbed to death, right? Because that's what they do. They mock. And now, if that child now is being mocked, was raised by his mother, how's he going to react emotionally? First thing, violence. That's always going to be violence. How he's mocking, he's laughing at me. We know a lot of women don't like to be laughed at. They don't like to be the center of attention for bad things. How much more men that are raised by women without no men that haven't got any testosterone in their body, meaning they're not masculine. They got a lot of estrogen, which makes them feminine. You can get that from eating too much soya, eating too much things that give off your body to have a lot of counts of estrogen, basically, right? You have to have a balanced body, right? Chiefly more testosterone, right? So yeah, he's gonna act emotionally and obviously go and do something we shouldn't do, even though it's an Edomite he robbed or whatever the case may be. But hey, most of the time it's our people that rob each other, right? So we got to get ourselves together, man. As the children of Israel. Let's go back to the book of Sirach 30. Right?
Book
And
of
we're gonna come
Sirach.
back to that. We're gonna come back to that where it says thou shalt not commit adultery. We're gonna come back to that, but let's finish off in Sirach 30 and verse
9.
9. Oh praises.
Book of Sirach 30 and verse 9. Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
Yeah, heaviness. And the first precept we brought out was what? Isaiah 3 and 12. Right? So in Isaiah 3 and 12 it said the children rule over the women. Right? So these women are afraid of their children. Some of these men, they're afraid of their children as well. Right? They might have come into the child's life 12 years too late. Right? You wasn't there for me. Right? You wasn't there raising me up. You missed all my parties and all my graduation and whatnot. You know how children can get, especially they've been raised as a woman or being raised, yeah, as a woman, yeah, they've been raised as a woman because a lot of these men are not men, right? They're men that was raised as women and raised by women to be effeminate and emotional and react and tit for tat. Oh, he hit me, he stepped on my shoe, so I need to shoot him 100 times now. I need to stab him to death, right? I need to take his woman, right? Why don't you get your own woman? Right? This is what we're raising, and this is what we're doing when we're not taking part in actually proving a friend going through the process of marriage, getting to know the person, seeing if that person's for you, right? Then having children, which comes after marriage, right? Normally, Lord willing. And then we'll stay in a household raising a child to not react to certain things from an emotional standpoint, to think logically, as men think logically, right? Yeah, he stepped on my shoe. He said sorry though, right? Okay, cool, no problem. Calm, it's done. Ah, he's stepping on my shoe for. Before you know it, there's a murder one. Got a tent now. There's a tent in the street over what shoes, right? There was even a time when people were killing each other over the new Jordans in America, right? These are emotional men. As I said, men that were raised as women by women, right? And they're not for women. Because anything happens now, if the woman commits adultery, as a man, you're meant to walk away, right? Chiefly, hey, it's all of the Lord's will. You could commit a murder because, hey, that's your woman and you got every right to react that way. We're going to get the scriptures to prove that. But 9 times out of 10, the best way to deal with adultery, if a woman's been sleeping around, walk away. You got your life. Because once you commit that murder, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. And guess what? She's still going to be out there looking for someone else. All right, so we got to think logically as men and not be too emotional. All right, you can continue read it, bro.
Verse 10. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, and lest thou notch thy teeth in the end.
Yeah, a lot of our brothers and sisters, they're disappointed in the way they raise their child, right? Certain things they do just kind of gnash their teeth. That's how when you got that bitterness in you, that regret, right? Ah, I had to struggle with the child all by myself. I never had no one to help me, right? It's that bitterness because of the decisions you made, right? You chose to do that with that person, right? And now you got a child from that, and now you're suffering, right? Money's getting taken out of your wages every week, right? I've met brothers that say every week they get paid, and the child support takes straight away in England, right? Because of the decision they made, right? You saw a beautiful woman, right? Kind of had no clothes on. It was easy for you before you know it. Before you know it, she tells you I'm pregnant. Then it's all hell from there, right? One argument, she take away the child, you're on child support, bam. Or a decision you made. So you have to take time when we get to know people, right? Because hey, that's where children come from. A man and a woman laying down together. Go on, bro. You can read on.
Verse 11. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his follies.
Right. So don't give them too much freedom. Again, we spoke about this already regarding phones and regarding tablets and giving them activities. Right. You can continue on.
Verse 12. Bow down his neck while he is young,
Say that again.
and bow down his neck while he is young.
And the reason I should say that again because we read in Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So if you're bowing down his neck from when he's young, again, the Bible links up. When he is old, pertaining to Proverbs 22:6, he's not going to depart from what he done, from what you taught him. All the instruction, the guidance, the love, kindness, strictness, right? Might have been moaning and whatnot. It might have been too much nag or whatever the case may be. But you love your father and you love your mother, right? And be grateful and be thankful, right? That you have a loving father and loving mother that rose you up, that trained you up. Because again, a lot of our people grew up in a single parent household, right? And it's only the grace of the Lord how they made it through that. Because hey, they got all odds against them. Again, the child's gonna be brought up with just estrogen, just feminine, just emotional reactions. No father figure. So it's all of the grace of Yahweh Shai, who we ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Hey, that our brothers and sisters that didn't have the father, maybe didn't have the mother, they might have been in a foster home. They grew up and they learned to understand that we're the Israelites, and they made it through. Because again, when you get that book, the Willie Lynch letter, all odds were sent against us, man. Like they had the crack epidemic, they had guns in the community, knife in the community, right? All these things to destroy our people. But the Lord said in Isaiah 54:17, no weapon that's formed against thee shall prosper. Right, so that's what we know with the children of God. That's what we know with the holy people, the sacred people. Right. You can continue reading, bro.
Bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the side while he is a child,
Mm-hmm.
lest he walk stubborn and be disobedient unto thee, and so bring sorrow to thine heart.
Yeah, man. For the most part, you give a child a good shouting, and they'll stop for the most part. But hey, you could have a disobedient child that you might have to just give him, as the scriptures say, a little slap on the side. Nowadays, you have to be careful, man, because hey, they're quick to call the authorities, like if people see and whatnot. But for the most part, they're gonna stop when you give them a good shouting or you take away their games. That's another form of discipline as well, right? But the end all be all will just be like a smack or hey, slap on the side of the wrist or you understand the belt or whatever the case may be. But that's just the last resort. But as I said, for the most part, they'll stop when you give them a good telling off or you take away the things that they like and you tell them why. Another thing as well, when you're disciplining your children, you tell them why you did it. Why you wasn't doing this, you wasn't doing that. Right? Because hey, when we went to slave ships, the Lord told us why we went to the slave ships. Right? We turned away from the Lord. So he turned away from us. Told us why. When you're raising up your children, you tell them why you're disciplining them. Why this happened, why that happened. So they know. Not that they're just getting in trouble for no reason or they're getting a beat for no reason. You're not telling them. Right? Let them know so they know not to do it again. Right? As I said, it's a serious subject. Right? Or subjects. We can leave that there, brother. Right? That's enough on that side.
Con.
Yeah. If you don't want to catch the rest by yourself or read the rest by yourself, the Sirach chapter 30, also known as Ecclesiasticus chapter 30, for the most part, it's all about children, for the most part. Right? So let me get the book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4, and we can go into a video. Give the brother a rest from reading. We're going to go into a video after this. So Ephesians 6 and 4, please.
Con. Book of Ephesians 6 and verse 4. And it read, And ye, Father, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and ad, 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 admonition
Well,
of the Lord.
yeah, man. So don't provoke your children to wrath, man. Oh, you got to fast every month, right? You got to kind of memorize the 10 commandments in 10 seconds, right? I want you to know all the prayers and psalms in alphabetical order, right? I want you to name all the books of the Bible, including the Apocrypha, and it better be in chronological order, right? According to biblical prophecy. That's too much, right? I want to know what happened in 70 AD, right? Bit by bit, right? You don't want to give them you don't want to provoke them to wrath. You don't want to provoke them to not believe in God no more, but you're giving them too much to do, right? You just give them the basics as a child, right? These are things we've got to understand and we've got to realize. And you want to instruct them, right? You want to correct them in the Lord, right? Knowing what the Lord requires of us pertaining to Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 12, right? So these are the things we've got to understand and we've got to realize, man. All right, so let me get into the video now. Give Captain a break, you know.
And
I'm my brother's keeper. Yes, I am. Lord willing. Yeah, I'm my brother's keeper. So let me share the screen quickly. Bear with me, children of Israel. Right. So we're going to get into edification. Mixing the Psalms on.
Coding is an industry growing so fast that salaries start at £48,000.
Okay. you just wake up?
No, I've been up working.
I had a good sleep.
All praises, that's good.
What about you?
Yeah, I slept good.
That's great.
Hey, go do your morning routine.
Okay.
Hey, I'm making pancakes.
We are chefs.
Yep, come help me.
I'll get the ingredients.
All we need is mix and water, girl.
Oh.
Hold up.
What?
Passing my phone. This label is looking different.
Here we go.
Wow.
What is GMO?
Yep.
But we just eat that.
See, this is why we always gotta recheck. I knew this box looked different.
We gotta prepare now.
You are so right.
Just throw it in the trash. We can eat something else.
All praise. Ecclesiasticus 4, 25, and 26. In no wise speak against the truth, but be abased of the error of thine ignorance. Be not ashamed to confess thy sins, and force not the course of the river.
Hey, Mommy, can I get the door?
Sure, go ahead. That should be our package. Oh, that's from your grandma.
Can I open it?
Sure, go ahead.
Pants. Pants are not modest.
That's right. What else is in there?
Here's a dress.
Nice.
Wait, let me check the fabric.
What is it?
100%.
All praises.
Oh, here's a shirt.
What about that?
Nope, can't wear it. It's mixed fabric.
Well, call your grandma and tell her you got everything.
Okay.
Hey, baby.
Hey, Grandma, I got the package. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you fit everything?
So, I can only wear the dress.
Why, baby?
Because pants are not modest and I can't wear mixed fabric.
Oh, your mom did say that. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Grandma. I still like my dress.
Okay, baby. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
Psalm 119, 172. My tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness.
Right, what did everyone think about that? Or what did some people think about that video? Any comments on anything about my video? Train up a child.
Go
Go on, go on. Go on.
Yeah, man. Shalom, everybody. Yeah. So what I noticed was it was the way the child approached the men was very modest and very upright. The way she explained it to her, it was without malice. Do you know what I mean? So that was one thing I noticed. Man, all praises.
All praises, also. Right. So I'm gonna go back to schedule. All right, so let me get the book of Philippines, chapter 4 and verse 12. Yeah.
Philippians, you said?
Yeah, Philippines, chapter 4, verse 12.
Come. Book of Philippians 4 and verse 12. I know both how to be abased, and I know how to abound everywhere. And in all things I am instructed, both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need.
Yeah. So we saw that little girl. She was instructed, man, in righteousness. She knew that, boy, I can't wear these type of clothing, even though she might have liked it, right? Can't eat certain foods if it's got this in. Imagine being hungry, but you're not gonna eat even though the food is there. That's discipline. That child was disciplined. All our children should be disciplined, right? In righteousness, and she was content as well. That's another thing. She was content. and very humble, right? To be brought down low, okay, cool. I might not got what I wanted to get. You kind of brought down low, but then when it's time for you to get what you need to get, you're brought up high. There's the balance and everything. Not everything's gonna go your own way, right? No, you can't get something and you just start crying and start throwing stuff on the floor and doing certain things. That's not how I react to certain situations, right? Just to be calm and be content and trust in the Most High. These are things we have to raise up the children from young to understand. Things don't go your way. You don't throw a hissy fit, right? You get that kind of out of the way when you're like 2 or 3, right? Some get out before, right? So yeah, we got to raise up our children in righteousness, man, and in godliness. So we can go on to the book of Psalms, chapter 127 and verse 3. And I'm going to get one in Isaiah. So Psalm 127, verse 3.
Book of Psalm 127, 2 or 3.
127, verse 3.
27.
Yeah, 127, verse 3.
Yeah, come. Book of Psalms 127 and verse 3. And it read, Lo, children are heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward.
Yeah, man. Children are heritage of the Lord, right? It's a good thing to have children, not a bad thing, right? Lord willing, right? Those that want children, they will be able to get children, man. It's a good thing. Like, you ain't got to kind of get your head down on what I'm going to do. I haven't got that much money. I'm not in the right financial situation. Forget all that. If it's the Lord's will for you to have children, you have children. You don't dictate how your life is going to go. Let me get Proverbs 20:24.
Proverbs 20 and verse
Obviously,
20.
in wisdom, you're not going to say, okay, I'm just going to have loads of children and that's it. Because the Lord also said in Sirach, don't require or don't triumph in having loads of children. Don't glory in having loads of children. Because if they don't believe in the Lord, it's better you had no children, right? So obviously, you use wisdom at the same time. And yeah, just don't think that, okay, cool, I can have all the children I want to have and the Lord's just going to take care of me and I haven't got like anything going on in my life. I'm not really working like that. No, obviously that will be the time for you to refrain and get your life together. And as the Lord said, set the house in order. Make sure you got things in place to have the financial things for your son or for your daughter. You don't want to have a child and you got nothing in your hand. As the scriptures say in Proverbs, there's some people that have children and there's nothing in his hand, meaning that he's got a child and he can't support his child. You don't want to be like that. You want to make sure you're prepared also as well. But at the same time, make sure, hey, the Lord knows all things, right? And the Lord can help you in certain things. So don't think that, oh, you're in a situation now, what do I do? No, you're in a situation because you're meant to be in a situation to test your faith. A lot of times when we're in situations, it's to test our faith regarding employment, right? Regarding, hey, you might have a child out of nowhere and you wasn't expecting to have a child, right? Hey, these things happen. There's loads of stories and the sisters don't know what to do, the man don't know what to do. Right? Never ever think to get rid of a child. I'll let you know that from now. Right? And this is for people that are in the world. Right? No Israelite should be thinking about getting rid of a child anyway. You know that's murder. Right? So yeah, just know, listen, you have a man, you have a woman, and children could come from that. It's a high possibility you can get a child from laying down with your wife. You can read that, brother.
Proverbs 20 and verse 24. Man going are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own ways?
Yeah, so we don't even understand our own ways half of the time. Well, we go certain places, right? Where we hang around at work and think, boy, let me just wait 5 more minutes, man. I'm gonna go in a minute, man. Just don't feel like leaving right now. You know, you get that feeling, you think, well, I don't want to leave right now. You get a feeling to leave straight away, wherever you are. It's all of the Lord. It's all in your spirit. Oh, let me turn left. Normally turn right. Right? You find out something happen on the right. And for some reason you need to turn that right that day. Everything is of the Lord. Right? So let me get the book of Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 23 to link up that precept, because there's always prophets that are saying the same thing, whether it's 2 or whether it's 3 or even more. That's Jeremiah 10 and 23, please.
Jeremiah 10 and verse 23, and it reads, Jeremiah 10 and verse 23. Behold, the noise of the brood is come, and a great
So Jeremiah
come
10 and 23.
23. Con. Jeremiah 10 and verse 23. O Lord, I know that the way of man is not in himself. It is not a man that walketh to direct his own step.
Yeah. So it's not us that directs our own steps. Everything is declared. Look, the end is declared from the beginning. Everything that's meant to happen was meant to happen. Don't be superstitious, or maybe I should never walk that way. That's because I went under a ladder. Right? It's because I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Right? You don't want to be thinking like this. It's the Most High that directs our steps. And when we're serving Him in truth and sincerity, and we really believe and we're really trying, the Lord will help us and put us in better situations no matter what it is. Nothing's too hard from the Lord. Right? Anyway, we're going to continue. Let me get Isaiah 54 and 13.
Isaiah 54 and verse 13. And it read, And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
Yeah, that's what we want, man. Our children to be peaceful, right? To know that we brought them up rightly. Even though you can have children you bring up, and when they get older, they just want to do their own way, but you know in your spirit that, yeah, I brought them up properly. Now, when they get of age and they want to do whatever they want to do, hey, they're not under your household, right? A lot of households, especially in the Caribbean, the community, but when you're under my household, you're gonna obey by my rules, right? And I'm sure in other communities also as well, right? But while you're under my household, you're gonna listen to what I'm saying, right? When you're not under my household, hey, you're your own man. You can do whatever you want to do. But I taught you what to do was right. So if you still don't want to listen, do what I told you what to do was right, then hey, what more can a parent do? Because sometimes we have those situations, right? Children are brought up rightly, and somehow they end up in gangs, right? I remember there was a famous radio person that was talking, and he was like, "Oh, how the most you let end up in gangs? You lot grew up in like good households. Why you lot want to do these type of things? Why you lot want to go and sell drugs and stab people and do all these type of stuff when you know you grew up in a proper household?" But the other guy that grew up in a council flat, right, or grew up in a poor community, like rats everywhere, piss everywhere, and stuff like that, he got no choice but to get how he lives. But then you have other boys or girls that grew up in a good house or a good environment. They had both their parents. Everything was clean. They had money, but they still want to join the other children through peer pressure or for wanting to fit in, right? And they end up in that situation. And now I know they might be a statistic doing 25 to life or dead because they want to lead a life that wasn't for them. And that's how we have to make sure that we're teaching our children, right, not to be led by other children, or not to go down a certain path, to let them know, look, I done all this working overtime to make sure you're in this area, or you're going to after school club, or you're doing these things, so you don't have to go down this road, right? Because you have a lot of like so-called rich Israelites, right, who have children, and the children go down the wrong road, and it's not of their own fault pertaining to the parents, because there's only so much you can tell them, only so much you can do, and they still want to live a life or say I was doing this, I was doing that, right? Case, for example, you got the rapper Ti. He's got a son, and his son just wants to be a thug, just wants to be a gangster, but he grew up in a good area, right? Kind of got the suburbs, you got the gated community. What does Ti's son know about doing certain things? Nothing. But it's a facade, it's vanity, it's things that he wants to try and impress his friends. Again, going back to the friends. And then if something happens to him now, the first thing them to do is blame the parents. Not all the time you can blame the parents. Sometimes the parents done everything they could do, and the child's just misled. And that again is all of the Lord. We just read, a man can't direct his own steps, and man's goings of the Lord. So, hey, we only can try with our children. Let me get Sirach 26 and 21. We'll get two more videos, I believe, and then yeah, we'll segue into the next.
Sirach 26 and verse 21. And it read, those I raised which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent.
Yeah, so chiefly when you're making a baby, when you're looking for children, you want to make sure it's of the same race as you, right? You want to make sure it's of your own nation, pertaining to the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? You got so many to choose from, but you have to marry within our own nation. Again, interracial marriage will be a sin. Sleeping outside your race would be a sin according to the scriptures. So to make sure your race, your seed, your children, they bring forth of the same race as you, pertaining to them being Israelites from one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Right, that's important as well. To the steps for children, right? Steps. And it's to be thought about, prayed about, fasted about, all these things. It's not, oh yeah, I want a child like he's a Yu-Gi-Oh! A card, or I want a child like he's a toy or something like that. Right? Be careful, It's not a joke. Because some women can't have children, some men can't have children. Right? These are the things we've got to understand and realize. Some children don't know their parents. So be happy and be privileged and be content with what you have and how you're brought up. Right? And sometimes ring your parents and have a conversation with them, right? As a adult or as a young adult. And yeah, these things we have to do. We have to make the most of life. Life is short. Don't take things for granted. As I said, most of our friends didn't have the parents in the household. Some had none. Some were foster kids or foster children. So just be grateful for what you have and that you know you're Israelite now and you're in the truth, right? Because some mothers forsook their children, kind of left them in a dustbin, right? It's serious. Children serious, right? And so is adultery. That's serious as well, right? So let me get the book of Isaiah 54 and 13.
Isaiah 54 and verse 13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
Woo! Let me get one more time. Good. Hey,
And
that's a beautiful thing to have all your children taught by the Lord, man. Right? Reading their Bible, right? Knowing certain scriptures off by heart, right? As we saw in the cartoon just a minute ago. Beautiful, right? Go on, bro.
Isaiah 54 and verse 13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
Right. Praise the Most High. This is what we want for our children. It's what we want for us. Peace, right? Peace among our people. Chiefly our children. I said again, the children are the future, right? We have to look after them. I don't know if everyone saw when I used to have Instagram, my own personal Instagram, there was a situation where there were children, young teenagers, say like year 7, year 8, right? And they was in a chicken and chip shop, and there was a bunch of police that was in there, like troubling them. And I think I just was a bus driver. Yeah, I just became a bus driver. It might have been 2024 winter time. I just became a bus driver. Driving past, and something in me just didn't feel right. Like my spirit just, I was like, nah. Normally, I'll just say, hey, the scriptures say, hey, my son meddle not in many matters. But at the same time, I was like, boy, when I was in school, this type of thing happened to me. I would have loved for an adult to come there and just be a presence to stop them violating my rights. So I kind of put myself in their situation. As the scriptures say, you got to love your brothers yourself, right? And if you can, try and be a type of help. Right? If you can't, then obviously you might just have to keep it moving and just pray for them and go in it. But in this situation, I chose to be there for those young teenagers, and I'm glad I did. I'm going to continue with the story. So anyway, I turned around now, pulled up at the chicken shop. For those who know, it's Maxine in East Dulwich. Anyway, I went inside the shop now. Like, what's going on here, officers? So obviously they proceeded to tell me what happened. There was a phone that was stolen, XYZ, XYZ. I was like, all right, no problem. Told the children, listen, yeah, you lot don't have to give your name. You don't have to give nothing, kid. Just listen to what they're saying, XYZ, XYZ. Come to find out now. So, okay, cool. What happened with this phone then? Because you've searched it now. There's no phone. Where is it? Oh, we tracked it and we believe it's on the roof of the chicken shop. Now, I'm not a fool. So if you talk to me like a fool, I'm going to talk to you like a fool. Right? So they say, yeah, it's on the roof. I said, officer, why would the phone be on the roof? If you track the phone, why would it be on the roof? And how come no one's not going up to get it? I didn't kind of say that last bit, but yeah. So why have you not gone up to kind of, or why is the phone on the roof? He couldn't answer it. I said, can you call down your sergeant? Because again, you got to know how to deal with police officers. They're law enforcement. They're there to help the people, really, right? And we know they don't really help us, right? He didn't want to call down a sergeant. I'm kind of recording it. One of them kind of kept touching me. I said, look, can you stop touching me, please? Just calm down. It's all right. Right? They're kind of getting annoyed. They want to get out of the shop now. And I kind of told them, listen, yeah, not the police, the young boys, like, listen, we're the Israelites. These things happen because we're the Israelites. You lot got to take it seriously, right? You got to be keeping the commandments. You got to be doing what's right. Because not every day you're gonna have some. Most adults won't even stop for the children, right? They're not gonna help. They're not gonna say nothing. We have some renegades that will, and that's good to be a presence. But as soon as I was there, it's like they was getting nervous. They kind of had to get out of there, right? And I was making a scene as well. I was like, why are you lot stopping them? Kind of got the chicken shop. Why are you lot stopping these young children? Everyone kind of looking again and getting nervous. We gotta get out of it now, right? And this is what grown Caucasian men do to our brothers and our sisters, right? They pray on them, and that's why we need the Lord. And these are children, right? Yeah, brothers in America saying, yeah, all praise to the Most High, that's good what you did, XYZ. And as I said, this is not an everyday thing. Most of the time I'm driving past, but that day, something deep down in my spirit, I said, you got to turn around, you know. And as I said, when you're doing these things, you got to make sure you know the Lord, know what you're doing, right? Don't go in there and you don't know what you're doing. Right? I watch a lot of them auditing videos, so I kind of know how to address and talk to the officers and whatnot. But at the same time, it was unlawful, and they're young children, and this is what they're doing to young children, to get them on a system, to get them a name, right? To put false charges on them, right? A phone. Nowadays, people ain't stealing phones, and if they are, they're big name brand phones, right? So yeah, that's just a little testimony from what happened pertaining to our children, and yeah, I just had to share that with you, lot, man, because it's sad that our children are being, in this day and age, preyed upon by grown men that are meant to be protecting us, protecting the community, right? So yeah, man. Salaki for that long rant, and Salaki just means sorry for those that are new. Right. So let me get what are you reading again, King? Isaiah 54 and 13.
Isaiah 54:13, yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we want our children to be at peace, man. Right. And these are the promises pertaining to the children of Israel, right? Pertaining to us getting the kingdom. We're gonna have our children in peace, our old men, our old women in peace, not worrying about our oppressors. Right? We're gonna be ruling under Christ. These are the things that pertain to us keeping the commandments and the faith in Yahweh Shai, right? On a day-to-day. Right? It's not just, oh yeah, it's on a Sabbath day and now we're just keeping the commandments. It's on that Wednesday, that rainy Wednesday, right? When you ain't got a phone call from no one, right? Those days where you need to be strengthened and you need to be reading your scriptures. You need to be showing brotherly love. You need to be doing what's right. You just put behind you all the bitterness, right? All the envying, right? All the backbiting, all the gossiping, all these things that are not required of us as Israelites to be doing. It's those times when no one can see you. What are you really doing by yourself? Do you really believe? Are you wasting your own time? These are the questions we should be asking ourselves. Why are we even in this truth? For what? Because it should be to magnify the name of the Most High and ultimately to love your brothers yourself. Whatever you want done to your brother, do that, but expect that to be done to you, right? We have to know the fundamentals and know why we're in this truth and what's expected of us, right? So let me get that again one more time, please, brother, because that's touching to me, man. That kind of brought back memories, right? Same thing happened to me. It's happened to these youths years later. And then the East Indian man in the chicken shop is not even saying nothing. And I told him, why didn't you say nothing? This is your establishment. You can ask them to leave. Yeah, but. So that's why you got to stop going to these chicken and chip shops. And I told them as well, listen, that man that you're giving money to, because who you give your money to is who you give your power to, didn't say a word to the police officer and watch you get searched. Same time he wants your money. And that's why we know all these nations are against us. From the East Indian man to the Caucasian man. They're all in cahoots. How come they all got chicken and chip shops in the community? How come most of these police officers don't live in the community? So they don't know no one. He's a black guy. He must have a gun. He must be selling drugs. He must have a knife. They must be up to no good. Let us hang around in the park or somewhere else, and there's too many of us, and see how many police will turn up. This is what I'm saying. We've got to pay attention to the signs. There's literally a film called They Clone Tyrone, when they have the same setup in every single state in America, in every single city, town in England, for the most part, where our people are. It's the same thing. Right? So we got to wake up, man. Right? Go on, brother. Let me get one more time. Sir.
Isaiah 54 and verse 13. And all thy children shall be taught of the Lord, and great shall be the peace of thy children.
And that's it, man. Great shall be the peace of our children. Let me get verse 17 as well. Since I quoted it earlier, let me get verse 17. Right.
Verse 17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper.
What about the nuclear missiles? Hold on. What about the nuclear missiles?
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper.
Woo. What else?
And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn.
Yeah, condemn those that rise against thee in judgment. Right? So yeah, man, we got to get together as a people, man, and understand we have a power, right, whose name is Yahweh. It means he exists. Right? All these other nations got false gods. Right? Some of them got God 365 days of the year, or used to have God 365 days a year. Right? Got the East Indian man who worships animals, tigers, right? Cats. These other nations, their gods are idol. Our God is a living power who delivered us from the land of Egypt and will deliver us from this place. We just got to be keeping the commandments of faith in Yahweh Shai, who we ignorant call Jesus Christ. Right? And be patient and wait. Are people too, oh, where's Christ coming? I thought he said he's coming. My nan said it. Just wait, man. There's still more sheep to be woken up. There's still sisters that need to be doing what's right. There's still brothers that need to be doing what's right. Right? It's not on our time. It's on the Most High's time. Right? Right. That's it. Right. So let me get the book of Isaiah chapter 59 verse 1. Right. As I was saying to the brother before we started, hey, nothing too hard for the Lord, you know. Anything you can think of, the Most High can do for you. Right? And I got testimonies, you see. I'm gonna say it for a later date. I've got testimonies, you see. That you wouldn't believe me if I told you. But hey, Lord willing, after we finish, I'll say certain things, but nothing's too hard for the Most High God, man. Yeah. Anyway, you can read up to me, brother, please.
Isaiah 59 and verse 1. Behold, the Lord hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither is ears heavy that it cannot hear.
Yeah, so the Lord ain't got a short arm. The Lord can't say, oh yeah, that's too hard for me. Oh, I never heard you. Can you pray a bit louder? The Lord hears all things. Right? Nothing's too hard for the Most High God. Think about all the things you've been through in your life. If anything was too hard, if the Lord delivered you from the hands of your enemies or out of bad situations, right? Kind of lost your job and kind of got another job, right? Kind of wanted to move at your parents' house and you got a 2-bedroom house or whatever the case may be, right? Kept failing your driving test and you passed out of nowhere once you prayed, right? And that was literally a testimony from me, right? I kind of failed my driving test a couple of times. The moment I prayed, even though I wasn't in the truth at the time, I didn't know certain things. That moment I prayed, that's the day I passed. And my driving instructor said to me, no one's ever prayed with her before. All right? Real life testimony. All you got to do is believe. And then you got to put action into it. All right. You can read on, brother. Verse 2.
Continue read on, King.
Yeah, you can read on. You can read on.
Verse 2. But your iniquity have separate between you and your God, and your sin have hid his face from you, that he will not hear.
Yeah, man, it's our sin. When you read Judith chapter 5 verse 20, that separates us from the Most High God. And this is why these nations put everything in our way, even put our own children in our way. They're obeying a computer generated more time by AI over their parents. Oh, Jerome, come and get your dinner. Oh, mama, come in a minute, man. Right? Stop bothering me, man. There's children literally that try to stab their parents over the tablet or the game, right? Or what's the other one called? The VR, right? They're living in the simulation. This generation, was it Generation Z or Gen Z, right? They're living in a time where just technology over everything. They don't even want money no more. They just want the clout and the technology. They walk with their phones as it's glued to their hand. They believe everything the government says, right? When COVID hit, they kind of had the mask. The phone wasn't too popular then. It was the mask. Right? They said there's something going on. Let's have the mask. Now that's gone away. Now they're back to the phone. You wouldn't see these young teenagers without their phone. Let them lose their phone, and then you'll know who their God really is. Let me get Exodus 20 and 3. And this is why we got to train up our children. We got to train them up to know there is one God, who is Yahweh. Right?
Exodus 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other God before me.
Say that again.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
That's it. Thou shalt have no other God before me. Let me get Psalm 27 and 10. Please.
Look up Psalms 27 and verse 10. And it reads, Psalm 27 and verse 10. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up.
Yeah. Because listen, as I said, there is mothers that give away their children. Right? It's still on the topic of children. There is mothers and there is fathers that forsake their children. Then read that again one more time.
When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up.
It all goes back to serving the Most High God. All it goes back to. Let me get a precept on that. Let me get Isaiah 49 and 15.
Isaiah 49 and verse 15. And it reads, Isaiah 49 and verse 15. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb?
Come on.
Ye they may forget yet, but yet will I not forget thee.
Yeah, so can a woman that gives breast milk to a child forsake that child? The Lord said, yeah. Again, there's women that leave their children in a dustbin. There's men that say, you know what, yeah, I can't deal with this woman. I'm going to wait for my child to get 18, then I'm going to deal with them, which is backwards. That child's not going to know you. So there is mother and there is father that can forsake their children. And we pray that child that's in that situation is brought up in righteousness and knows the Lord and is brought up to have a balanced reaction to certain things and ultimately to be keeping the commandments of faith in Yahweh Shai. And we pray that they're fully healed and they have no type of PTSD or any type of mental illness or nothing. They're just healed by the Most High God. The Lord said He's going to protect us. Right? He will heal us. Let me get that one more time for me, brother.
Isaiah 49 and verse 15. Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee.
And that's a cold woman, I'll tell you that now. They come like the ostriches that step on the eggs and they don't realize they step on the eggs because the Lord take away the understanding from them, right? Those women that done it, cold women that put their job over their children, right? Or the social life over their children. It's okay to have a life and party now and again and do what you have to do. Of course, you have to live your life, but you can't be forsaking your children, right? And if that does happen to that child, the Lord's going to protect them, Lord will it, right? And grow them up to know they're Israelite, to keep commandments and truth in Yahushua. Let me get Proverbs 13 and 24 and play a video.
Look at Proverbs 13 and verse 24. And it read, He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him bedtime.
Yeah. So if you love your son, right, you're not gonna spare correction, right? You're gonna chastise him, you're gonna correct him early, right? As soon as possible. That's real love. Correcting your children so they don't run up and grow up and be a gangbanger or talk to someone disrespectful and get their head knocked off because they don't know you're not meant to be speaking to people like that. You're meant to carry yourself how you want to be carried. And that's why Yahushua said you got to treat your brother how you want to be treated, paraphrase him, right? Can't be rendering evil for evil pertaining to your brothers. But chiefly the children need to be grown up and shown how to operate and conduct themselves in the environment, right, they might not be used to and the environments they are used to. So they know how to switch it up, right, when they're applying for a job and when they're around their friends, being social. Right? Certain skills, you got to know how to operate in certain, build in certain rooms, right, full of vultures, full of people that might not like you, might be forming an opinion of you and they don't know you before you open your mouth based on how you look. Play all that to the side, right, and operate in a business environment, right? These things that are taught to children by their parents. Right, so I'm going to play the video now, give Captain a rest. Video.
Baby. Chain and child, slowly gone, depart from the Lord we know. Teach His will and love, righteously building right.
Okay, class, it's time to work on our Christmas decorations. I baked some gingerbread cookies so we can make a house. Doesn't that sound exciting? Daniel, why aren't you decorating with the class?
I don't celebrate Christmas. It's pagan. It goes against my beliefs.
Oh, okay.
So I got to pull it up. Sorry.
Daniel, why aren't you decorating with the class?
I don't celebrate Christmas. It's pagan. It goes against my beliefs.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
It's okay. I'll just work on my homework.
Hey, Mommy, can I call Daniel?
What time is it?
1:45.
Well, remember Daniel goes to public school, so he's probably not home yet.
Okay, I will wait. 2 hours later. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Kimura. What are you doing?
Just watching my show.
I got a new set of Legos.
Can I see?
Sure. Let me show you.
Wow, that's so cool.
Thanks. Hey, what did you learn in school today?
I learned about measurements.
Nice. Oh, guess what?
What?
Today, my teacher asked me to make gingerbread houses for Christmas with my class.
That's wicked.
I know.
What did you say?
I told her it's a pagan holiday and I don't celebrate that.
Yep, that's idolatry.
You're right. Well, it's almost dinner time. I gotta go.
Okay, shalom.
Shalom. Hey, Mom?
Yes?
Today my teacher asked me to decorate gingerbread houses for Christmas, but I told her I don't celebrate pagan holidays.
Well, all praises. I know that's right. So what did she say?
She said okay, that she didn't know.
You did good, son. Yah's will, I can homeschool you soon. Until then, keep enduring and standing up for the Most High's laws.
I will, Mom.
Psalms 106:3. Blessed are they that keep judgment, and he that doeth righteousness at all times.
How was your call with Daniel?
His teacher tried to make him celebrate Christmas.
What?
He told her it's a pagan holiday.
Well, go ahead, Daniel. Well, remember, Ecclesiasticus 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
What's that mean?
Well, when you know the commandments and obey them, there will be times when evil people will try to tempt you.
Tempt?
It means to trick or trap you. Let's say you're really hungry and you haven't eaten in days, and I bring you a pork chop sandwich. Would you eat it?
No, it's unclean animal.
What if you're super hungry?
It's an abomination.
But I'm your mom.
No, thank you. No hell for me.
You choosing to starve instead of breaking the commandment is overcoming temptation.
That makes so much sense.
Temptation can be food, family, friends, and holidays. We just have to stay strong and obey Yah no matter what.
Okay, Mommy.
That was beautiful. All praise to the Most High. All praise. Right. Let me get the book of Samuel, chapter 1, verse 1. Right. Going into how Samuel was born, and that's all of the Most High. If the Lord is going to bring a child into the world pertaining to a woman not being able to have a child. And it's why praying and reading, fasting, and repenting is beautiful. And to have faith ultimately as well. So 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 1.
First Samuel 1 and verse 1. And it read, Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim, Zophim of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, his son of Jeroham, the son of Elihu, the son of Tohu, the son of Zoph, and Ephrathite. And he had two wives, and the name of the one was Anna, and the name of the other Peniah.
Right,
And
so Samuel's mum is Hannah, right? He's about to be conceived a bit later on. Read on.
and Peninnah had children, but Anna had no children.
So sometimes you might have that, right? A man might have two wives, and one wife can have children, and one wife can't have children, right? It's going to cause problems and whatnot. But hey, again, it's all of the Lord, right? So this man, obviously, he might not be thinking about too much, doing his thing, working man. Hey, Lord willing, my other wife gets pregnant, whatever the case may be. But let's see how Hannah took this. Read on.
Verse 3, and this man went out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto the Lord of hosts in Shiloh.
Right, so he knew where the Lord's sacrifice was meant to be. He was a righteous man. He was doing things, thus saith the Lord, right?
And the two sons of Eli, Ophni, and Phinehas, the priest of the Lord, were there. And when the time was that Elkanah offered, he gave to Peninnah his wife, and to all her son and her daughter portioned. But unto Anna he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Anna. But the Lord had shut up her womb.
So that made him even love her more. The fact that the Lord shut up her womb, right? So he gave her a worthy portion, right? She had no children, right? She kind of stuck out, right? And obviously, again, it's all of the Lord, right? Man's goings of the Lord, how can man then understand his own way? And the Lord also said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, right? Everything happens for a reason, why her womb was shut up, right? Let's see Hannah's faith and let's see how it works. Read on.
Verse 6, and her adversary also provoked her sore,
Right, so her enemy also provoked her sore, right? Might be mocking her, ha ha ha, you can't have children. Lord knows what they were doing in those times in Israel, right? Because let me say this, yeah, back then it was a serious thing if you had a child. Like, it was serious, you kind of was up there, right? And when you didn't have a child, it was like, boy, they were kind of looking down upon it, right? But they don't know the ways of the Lord, right? So they can provoke her how much they want to provoke her, but after she's done her praying, her fasting, and she's fully convinced that the Lord will help her, all that laughing didn't mean nothing back then, right? Once she had Samuel and she had multiple children, she's gonna forget all the days of her sorrow, right? Go on, brother.
Verse 6, and her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. Verse 7, and as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her, therefore she wept and did not eat.
So every year she was provoked that she didn't have a child. The fact that, to the extent, sorry, that she couldn't even eat no more, and she was crying, right? Because sometimes when you're sad, you don't even want to eat, right? Laughing her, laughing at her, sorry, mocking her, all these. I kind of put myself in these situations, like, to see what it would look like when I'm reading these scriptures. Imagine I was there looking at how she was crying, and maybe she might be pulling her hair, she might be nervous. God knows, right? Because as I said, back then when we was in Jerusalem, right, it was a big thing for a woman to have children. Like, that was expected of a woman to have children, right? Then we think, oh, you got a husband, how come you ain't got children? This is what the story is going into, right? So obviously she's being provoked, right? And obviously women can do it in different ways. This woman, her adversary was bold to provoke her. We don't know how she was provoking her, right? But women can do it in subtle ways, different type of ways, right? So yeah, we just obviously pray for those sisters that want children. Lord willing, they can have children. But these things are written, as I say, it's in Romans for our learning, right? To understand how you operate if you're in that situation and how to move. You've got to be humble, right? You've got to have faith. And then you see what happens with Hannah. She obviously was given a child. You can read on, brother.
Verse 8, then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Anna, why weepest thou, and why eatest thou not, and why is thy heart grieved? Am not a bitter, am not I better than thee, than 10 sons?
Right. So he said to her, am I not better to thee than 10 sons? Right. 10 represent completion. Right. Because she obviously, again, in those times, a husband was a serious thing to have a husband. Right. To have children, serious thing. So he's saying to Hannah, am I not better to thee than 10 sons? Because you got a husband, you got protection, you got a hedge. Right. You got someone that's going to take care of you. Right. But obviously she wanted children as well, which comes with having a husband. So you can continue reading, brother.
Verse 9, so Anna rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat up on a seat by a post of the temple of the Lord. Verse 10, and she was in bitterness of soul, and pray unto the Lord, and
What'd she
wept.
do? Sorry, so
Pray
what'd she do?
unto the pray unto the Lord,
What does
and
sisters have
wept.
to do if they're wanting something, especially children?
Pray unto the Lord,
Yeah,
and wept sore. Verse
yeah.
11.
You have to be sorrowful as well. No, look, listen, yeah. Let me say this, yeah. I remember I was in school. My maths teacher, I'll never forget him, Dr. Tunde. I used to go to school in Lewisham. Right. He was like, listen, yeah, when you're praying, yeah, he said this. I'll never forget this. He said, when you're praying, if you didn't cry, you didn't mean it. Obviously, not every time you're gonna cry when you're praying, innit? But he just said if you didn't cry, you didn't mean it. I'll never forget that day. I'm like, gee. So basically, you have to be in a sorrowful, like, mindset, spirit. When you're praying to the Lord, you're in a humble spirit. You're not proud, looking up. You kind of got your head down, right? If you're walking and you're on the way to work or whatever, you're kind of praying and you're just in your zone, right? In your head praying and whatnot, but you're in a humble spirit when you're praying. This sister, this princess Hannah was weeping. She was in the bitterness of her soul and she was praying and she wept sore, right? When you say your prayers, you mean it. You believe that it's going to come to pass, whatever you're asking for. And again, the Lord's not a genie. It's not that you just pray and you kind of got your head up. Oh yeah, the Lord will do it. No, you have faith and you actually have to have works as well. Right? Whatever you're asking for, whatever situation you want to be in, whatever you want to do with your life, health, wealth, and financial gain, right? More faith, right? More brotherhood, more sisterhood, right? More Zoom classes throughout the week. Lord knows you might be praying for that. That's between you and the Most High, right? Just make sure you're praying in the name of Yahweh Shai, right? And for those that are new, you're praying in the name of Christ, right? You can continue, brother.
Verse 11, and she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine hand and of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. Verse
Right.
12.
So she made a vow. She made a vow unto the Lord. Come on.
Verse 12. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her month. Verse 13. And Anna, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunk.
Right. So Eli the priest is looking at her. She's in the temple. She's praying, and obviously her lips are moving, but there's no noise coming out. That's how much she's in the spirit of praying. Right. She's just in the prayer. She's in her zone. That no noise is coming out, but her mouth is moving. She's thinking the thoughts in her head, and her mouth is moving. That's how serious she's taking this prayer, and how serious we should be taking our prayers also as well. Right. Because she really believes and she knows she's gonna get it. She's praying, and this man's thinking that she's drunk because obviously, hey, not it's not normal to see someone and their mouth's moving, no noise is coming out of their mouth. So again, you got to picture yourself when you're reading the scriptures and put yourself in the book so you understand what's going on. It's not a Harry Potter book. I always say that all the time, and it's not. This is a book of prophecies, dark sayings, things that's happened that will happen in the future as well, and our history, which is not October Black History. Our history is the Bible. You can continue, bro.
Verse 14. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thine wine from thee. And Anna answered and said, No, my lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint I grieve, have I spoken. Arthur.
Yeah, go on, hitherto.
Verse 17. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou art asked of him.
Yeah,
Verse
man.
8.
So that's good as well. Sometimes, when people know that you're praying, you might not necessarily tell them what you're praying about or what you ask for, but they will say whatever you pray to the Lord for, I hope that you get, and they might throw up a prayer as well, right? Because she said, "I'm not a daughter of Belial." Belial just means foolishness or someone they're not in wisdom. Wisdom don't dwell with them, right? So she's not that woman to be in a temple to be drinking strong drink, and she's made that clear. So now he's known that she's not a drunk woman. Hey, might throw up a prayer for the sister, say whatever she wants. Lord willing, can you give it to her? Can you strengthen her and whatnot? Right. Let's continue, brother.
And she said, Let thine handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did not eat, and her
Sorry, I did what?
countenance.
Sorry,
did
did what?
not and
And
did
did eat.
slack
There you
and
go.
did eat,
Right.
and her countenance was no more sad. Verse
Yeah, so
19.
hey, she weren't eating. She was in a sorrowful countenance, right? She kind of was, right, weeping, right? And her countenance was sad, right? She was in that type of, in a sense, spirit because she didn't have a child, right? So you know, children are important, right? Can't stress that no more, you know. Children are important. Don't know how the bones are formed, as the scriptures say, in the mother's belly. All praise to the Most High. All praise to the Most High for sisters, because we know our sisters give birth to many children, right? Some have maybe 5 children, some have 7, right? No one knows the pain that the sisters go through those 10 months when you read the book of Wisdom of Solomon, right? It's 10 months, right? No one knows, right? Kind of feeding the baby when you're eating as well. Us men we can't understand that. Women can't understand how the bones are formed. It's all of the Most High God, right? But we need each other. The men need the women, the women need the men, right? We don't play that gender roles thing. That's not of our culture, right? So yeah, we love our sisters, man, and all praise to the Most High. We're gonna go straight to the point now. We're not gonna
And the
jump around. No, we can jump down to verse 20. Yeah.
verse 20. Wherefore it came to pass when the time was come about after Anna had conceived that
After what?
she
Hold on. After
after
what?
after Anna had conceived.
All praises to the Most High. This is the woman that was barren. She couldn't have children, right? Her husband knew she couldn't have children. But now she conceived, right? Now she's pregnant. Conceived, past tense. Already happened. All praises to the Most High. Go on, bro.
That she bare a son, and
Right. And
called his
even in that, she prayed for a man child. Those that are paying attention, those that are listening, she got a son as well. Not only is she pregnant, but she has a man child, and she prayed for a man child. And she actually made a vow as well, right? She made a vow, a promise to the Lord. Let's commence.
that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel,
Woo.
saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord.
Saying what?
Saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord.
Saying because I've asked him of the Lord. Meaning you got to have faith. You got to believe when you're praying, right? There's many other accounts of our women having faith, from Judith to Susanna to Dorcas to Hannah, right? Sarah, Rebecca, Mary Magdalene, and so on and so on. And sorry if I'm missing out some of the sisters, right? So we don't play that women versus men type of games. We need our women and our men, and our women need our men. Sorry, that's how much I don't play them games. I can't even say it properly most of the time. But we need each other, right? The men and the women need each other. Yeah, that's what we need to understand. Right? When you read the scriptures, a lot of our women had so much faith. You had the prophetesses, you had actual prophets, right? You had women that was raised up to lead the children of Israel, right? By the hand of the men, giving them instruction from the Most High God that, yeah, the Lord's going to take down our enemies, but by the hand of a woman, right? These things happen when you read the book of Judges, right? So we've got to understand how important children are and not forsake our children, man. So you lot can kind of read First Samuel and get into Samuel on your own. But it's a beautiful story, man. Going into faith and works and not giving up, praying, fasting, right? Being in a lower state. Not every time party time. Not every time feast time. Hey, listen, sometimes it's humble time. Burn your frankincense and myrrh, right? You might play the Bible audio. You might be reading extra chapters, right? You might be praying, right? Repenting for things that you might not know you have done in the past time. So many things you can be doing. So you've got to take this truth and take the Most High God seriously, right? And don't just read for the sake of reading. But I do want to get a precept because Hannah did make a vow. Now let's see what Christ said we should do, because he gave us a better way of keeping the commandments, and we are under grace Let's get Matthew 5:33.
Matthew 5, verse 33. And it reads, Matthew 5 and verse 33.
Oh.
Again, ye have heard that it ought been said by them of old time, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but
Right, so the
shalt.
Lord said, sorry, the Lord said, thou shalt not forswear thyself, right? You don't swear by yourself. Come on.
Thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thine oath.
Right.
But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God throne,
Come on.
nor by the earth, for it is footstool,
Come on.
neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Neither shalt thou swear by the head, because thou canst not make one ear white or black. But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than thee cometh of evil.
Yeah. So when Christ came on the scene as the Messiah, right, he gave us a better way to pray and to ask for things and not to swear, even though we're allowed to swear before Christ came, meaning that you're allowed to give your oath, you're allowed to make a vow. That's why Hannah made a vow, she didn't do nothing wrong. But when Christ came in the scene as the Messiah, right, he gave us a better way to live and to conduct ourselves, that we don't need to swear no more. Just make a yea be yea and a nay be nay, right? And obviously pray and have faith in the Most High God. Gave us a better way to pray and to make our yea be yea and our nay be nay. And whatever we ask for in the Lord, just ask. You don't need to swear by anything. And even just in general conversation. Right. So all praise to the Most High. Right. Let me get the book of Proverbs 20 and 11. Please. Yeah, Proverbs 20 and 11.
Look at Proverbs 20 and verse 11.
Yeah.
Book of Proverbs 20 and verse 11. And it read, even a child is known by his doing, whether his work be pure or whether it be right.
Yeah. And how's he going to be known by his doing, whether it's pure or right? By you training them up in righteousness and godliness. Right? Even a child is known by his doings. Right? I don't think little Jerome would do that. He wouldn't throw paint on the wall. I've never seen him act like that before. But it's how they act and how they conduct themselves and what they're allowed to do. That's why the scriptures say you don't want them to be a willful child, right? By you having them in a certain schedule and a routine and order under the Most High God in righteousness and meekness. Let me get Proverbs 29 and 15, please.
Proverbs 29 and verse 15. The rod and reproof give wisdom,
What
but
does
a
rod
child
and reproof give?
wisdom.
Woo! So the rod and reproof, meaning correction. Again, you can correct them with taking away the game, with stern words, shouting and whatnot, and you're correcting them. You're giving them, you understand, wisdom. That's what it gives when you correct your child. Right, go on.
The rod and reproof giveth wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame.
Yeah, man. That's one of the worst things. You see a mother kind of got her head down or shaking her head when the teacher call and say your son done that or your daughter done that. One of the worst things. I've seen it when I come to the school. And the parents kind of trying to argue with the teacher and say certain stuff, but the teacher's saying they done that. And it always goes back to how you're bringing them up in the household. Certain times there's little children saying certain words, and I'm talking to the vice principal or the deputy head, right? And he's just basically saying to me, boy, that's a learned thing, that's something that's been taught at home. When they're saying certain words, they're doing certain things. It's all learned behavior at home. Children mimic what you do at home. This is why you're not meant to talk too much around the children. right? They should be seen and not heard, for those who know that saying, right? And most of the time, they have to be out of the room, right? Shouldn't be arguing in front of them, shouldn't be doing certain things in front of them, right? Hey, when it's adult time, it's adult time. They in a bed, right? In their room. And yeah, man, children are delicate. They soak up information, right? You kind of do childish things, get the children, right? So, let me get the book of Proverbs 13 and 22, right? I remember I
Book
must
of
have picked up my son. Sorry, I remember I must have came to pick up my son one time, and there was a supply teacher in it. So now you know about supply teachers. They're not there 24/7, so they only get to see what they get to see for a short period of time, right? So I came to pick up my son, and he must have said, "Ah, are you is that your dad?" Or he must have said, "Is that your son?" Right? Said his name or whatnot. Said, "Is that your son?" Right? My son's name Nehemiah. He said, "Are you Nehemiah's dad?" I said, "Yeah." Put his hand out straight away. Now everyone knows what that means, right? He's kind of saying, "Yeah, you're doing your thing. You're raising him up properly." Didn't want to say nothing. All he says, "Are you Nehemiah's dad?" I said, "Yeah." Put his hand out straight away. Never forget that day, right? And that was an Edomite that did that, right? And I know why he did that. He said, "Yeah, yeah, my daughter's smart as well. She's quick with the maths and stuff like that." And we kind of have a conversation, right? He wasn't there for ages. That was probably his first day there or second day there. And he sees certain things, right? So you have to train up your children in righteousness and meekness, man, right? It makes you look good, and it's the right thing to do, right? Go on, King, sir.
Proverbs 20 and verse 13 and verse 22. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children, and
Woo!
the
Sorry, sorry,
wealth
sorry. Read that for me slowly, sir. Read that for me slowly.
gone.
Take your time, bro. Go on.
A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
Yeah, this Bible is serious. It's a cold book, you know. You leave an inheritance for your grandchildren, for your children's children. And chiefly that inheritance is the commandments of the Most High and the faith in Yahweh Shai, man. Leaving the word, the true wisdom. As you know, wisdom is personified as a woman. Right? Leaving them instruction, righteousness. What did David say before he was about to die to Solomon? Keep the commandments, show yourself a man. If you want to show yourself a man, keep the commandments, paraphrasing. Right? You leave behind obviously physical money and whatnot, and show them how to handle money with what they're not teaching them in the school. They don't teach them how to build financial wealth, how to build generational wealth, is what they say now. That's what they say nowadays, generational wealth, right? Break the curses and whatnot. But yeah, they don't teach them how to be like a entrepreneur or how to make 1p into £2 or whatever the case may be. They teach them how to just be a worker and just to say yeah and to say no and just to be obedient to the manager. And this is why you have some people that might get bullied at work or they might get taken advantage at work and they might not know certain things like joining a union and certain things. Got to teach your children these things, you know. When you get in the workplace, you join a union, you do this, you do that, right? Conduct yourself decent in order. Make sure you're in time. Make sure you're respectable, right? Make sure you do what you're required to do in your job role, not your manager telling you to do something that's got nothing to do with your job. But because you're so petrified of the teacher and of the manager, you're just always just under them. No, sometimes you gotta know what your job requires of you. If it doesn't work, say, Mr. James, that's not in my job, right? If it's a minor thing, then you can kind of okay, cool. But if it's something major and it's got nothing to do with your job, and they're trying to take liberties with you, you got to kind of stand up. You might have to be that black sheep, as they say, right? And just understand that hey, people like to take advantage of people, and these are the things we've got to be teaching our children as well, right? Don't follow the crowd. Don't give in to peer pressure. Everyone's smoking a vape. Don't smoke the vape. You don't need to. Right? Sorry, brother. Go on, go on. Let me get that one more time, sir.
One minute, 21.
22.
22, come. Do they not err that devise evil, but mercy and truth shall be to them
Oh,
that
sorry.
devise
Proverbs
good.
13 and 22.
Oh, come.
Yeah,
A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just.
Yeah, man. All those that wanna live a wicked life, all that money is gonna be laid up for the just people, right? And Lord willing, that's our children, man. That's the young generation. Those that want to serve the Lord. Those people that are doing wickedness, doing evil, that wealth is laid up for them, right? So let me get the book of Matthew 19 and 13. Yeah, Matthew 19 and 13.
Book of Matthew 19 and verse 13. And it read, Then were there brought unto him little children, that he should put his hand on them and pray, and the disciple rebuked them.
Right.
Verse 14. But Yahushua said, Suffer little children, and forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven.
Woo! So Christ is saying, listen, we have to be humble like children, right? Because such is the kingdom of heaven. Humbleness, meekness. Told the disciples, don't forbid them, because the disciples kind of getting onto them, or rebuking them and saying, why are you bringing the children to Christ? Why are you bringing them here for? And he said, no, you got to suffer them, meaning you got to allow them, because such is the kingdom of heaven. How do we know that? Let me get Matthew 18 and 1.
Book of Matthew 8 and verse 1.
18 and 1, yeah. Matthew 18 and 1.
Book of Matthew 18 and verse 1. And the same time came the disciple unto Yahushua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Yahushua called a little child unto him, and set him down in the midst of them, and said, Verily I said unto you, except ye be converted and become a little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Woo! That's it. You gotta be humble like a child, right? Taking this truth, the word, right? Don't react to every single thing emotionally. Because such is the kingdom of heaven. Right. Let me get one more. Let me get Psalms 8 and 2. I used to love bringing up this precept at camp years ago.
Book of Psalms 8 and verse 2. And it read, Out of the mouth of babes and suckling hast thou ordained strength, because of
Okay.
thine enemies,
Yeah.
that thou
Go on, sir. Go on, sir.
out of the mouth of babes and suckling hast thou ordained strength, because of thine enemies, that thou mightest still the enemy of the avenger.
Yeah, man. Out of the mouth of babes and sucklings. So we love our children, man. We love the young generation. Because we were once like them. And there's many, many more precepts to bring out. So Lord willing, there's a part 2 just on children. And yeah, man. Hey, the best of my ability, I'll brought it out regarding children. Let me get Exodus 20, and you can start from verse 14.
Exodus 20 and verse 14.
Right.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Thou shalt not what?
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Right. So no sleeping with someone who's married to someone else if you're a man, and if you're a woman and if you're married to a man, no sleeping with no one else regardless. Right. As we read in 1 Samuel, right, according to the law, if it's expedient for that man, a man can have multiple wives, but a man can't lay down with another woman who's promised to another man or who's with another man. And if a woman's married, she can't lay down with any man or anyone in general, right? That would be considered adultery, those two different scenarios, right? Let me get the book of Leviticus 20 and 10.
Book of Leviticus 20 and verse 10. And the man that commit adultery with another man's wife.
Read that again, brother. Read that again.
Exodus 20 and verse 10. And the man that committed adultery with another man's wife, even he that committed adultery with his neighbor wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death.
Right. So before Christ came in the scene as Christ, as the Messiah, right, the punishment for adultery would be to put them to death. When Christ came down in the scene, right, as the Christians like to say in the church, "Oh, cast your first stone," right, pertaining to Christ saying to the people that caught the man, or caught the woman in the act, right, or it was said that she was caught in the act, right, they didn't actually catch her in the act, but the punishment for that was death. He said, "He without sin cast the first stone," right. So meaning that, hey, listen, if you haven't got no sin, then you can be punishing someone to death. But listen, if you have, then you got to go your way, innit? And as we know, the story went, they went their way, right? So Christ dying for our sins, meaning that we're not now going to be punished for breaking the Sabbath, or God forbid, anyone on this Zoom call commits adultery, you wouldn't be punished by stoning, right? But it is a heinous act, and it is something to be despised. And as we're going to go through the precepts, children can be brought forth from adultery, and it's a bad name, and there's so much that can go wrong with it. It's just nothing you want to be associated with, and this is why you got to take the proper steps. You got laws, statutes, and commandments, right, to avoid being even in that vicinity of adultery, even in that realm of adultery. You don't want to be nowhere near that at all, right? You want to be known as a brother or sister that's got nothing to do with anything like that, right? So yeah, let me get the book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse 27. Yeah, Matthew 5 and 27.
Book of Matthew 5 and verse 27. Ye have heard that it was said by them of old time, Thou shalt not commit adultery.
And we just read that in Exodus and in Leviticus, which is the law. You can continue, brother.
But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart.
And what does the heart represent? The mind, right? We haven't got to get the precept Jeremiah 79, but the heart represents the mind. You're kind of looking, you're fixated in a woman. Oh, she's so beautiful. Oh, she's so this, she's so that. Hey, that's another man's wife you're looking at. I was about to call some name, but let me be conservative, right? So we're gonna come back to this anyway. Let's get Sirach chapter 9, verse 8, and we'll stay in Sirach 9 for a bit. Right? There's precautions, there's things you gotta set in place to make sure you're nowhere near that realm, right? Nowhere near that at all. Right? Shouldn't be thinking about another man's woman. And I always say this as well. You gotta be careful as well when you see other women and you don't know if they're married or not. So when I first came to the truth, if I saw a beautiful woman and whatnot, again, I'm only going to give my own testimonies. I'll say, God forbid she had a husband, or Lord willing she have a husband, because I might say something, oh, she was beautiful, XYZ, XYZ, which is not really nothing wrong, but I'm careful and I want, obviously, everyone to do the same thing if they can. So I would obviously give the best advice not to be a hypocrite. So I always say, Lord willing, she'd have a husband, God forbid she didn't have a husband. In my heart, I'm saying all these things, meaning in my mind. I might be driving, I might be walking, she might be looking, whatever the case may be. God forbid she got a husband. And then another thing as well, when you're talking to someone, you got to make sure they're not actually seeing anyone, or they're not trying to bring you into adultery, meaning that woman's not already got a husband. She's not really engaged, or whatever the case may be. You got to do your homework. And it's why you got to prove a friend. You got to take the steps and precautions, because people can lie. That's another thing. People can lie. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not with no one. And you find out they are like months later. Right? So you got to take your time. Right? There's a famous song, I believe, from Jadakiss and Joe. He said, it's your house. What you bring in it? It's your bed. What you let stay in it? You got to take your time when you're getting to know people, so you don't fall into committing adultery. So let's get Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 8. Please.
Sirach 9 and verse 8. Turn away thine eyes from a beautiful woman. And
Turn away what?
Turn away thine eyes from a beautiful woman.
You're not even meant to, when you read the book of Proverbs, you're not even really meant to be desiring a woman just for beauty. When I was young, I always used to say that. You can't just be about beauty. It's got to be more than that. And this is when we was young. Oh, when I was young, sir. But there was obviously other people that was like this as well. Like, I remember being on a bus one time, and one guy was like, a woman's got to have more than just beauty. She got to have a good mind. And I think another woman must have got up and say, that's right. Da, da, da. I remember that. It was on a bus that day. Right. So it wasn't just me that was thinking like this. But yeah, she got to have more than just beauty. And that's what the word of God says. Right. In many other scriptures. Right. It's a good thing because it can make you happy if she's beautiful or not. But it's not just you're just desiring her just for the beauty. Right? Let the wisdom and everything else, the humbleness and her being a lady come first and what's inside rather than just the outer appearance. Let me get that again from the top, please.
Turn away thine eyes from a beautiful woman and look not upon another beauty, for many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman.
Sorry, brother, I gotta get that one more time. Because there's so many accounts of men that's been deceived from the beauty of a woman, and they might end up committing adultery. So many, we'll be here all day naming them, right?
Turn away thine eyes from a beautiful woman and look not up on another beauty, for many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman, for herewith love is kindled as a fire.
Yeah, man. Man, they say, I love this woman, you know. I'll do that for the woman. Let me get First Esdras chapter 4, verse 26. We're gonna come back to this. Let me get First Esdras chapter 4, verse 26. All right. Kindle a fire. I'm just in love with her. There's certain people that will stop eating, chiefly men that will stop eating if the woman doesn't want to talk to them no more. They might not have gone the whole way with them. They might not have done so many things with them, but they're so engulfed in their love. It's like a kindling a fire. And now because the woman said, oh no, maybe you're not for me. Sorry, I thought it was gonna work. Or I think we're just better as friends. That can turn some people mad, you know? So I always tell brothers as well, you got to make sure the woman's into you as you're into her. And chiefly, she should be more into you than you're into her. Everyone's situation is different, but that's the advice that I'll give. So when she doesn't have the sort of what's the best word to use? When she's not into you so much and she might be a bit bored, because she loves you more than you love her, because she's into you more than you're into her, she's still gonna fall back on that type of love or her being still into you, rather than if she's just a little bit into you. When you do something that kind of irritates her, oh, no, I don't think this is for me. I think we should be friends, or do you mind if we just had to take a break from speaking? And that can turn certain men mad because you want more than what she wants. She's not really that into you. And then you get the psychotic men. You got men that put on restraining orders. You don't really hear about women getting put on restraining orders unless it's maybe like a celebrity man or whatever the case may be. So yeah, brothers got to be careful, man. You got to know what you're doing, right? Because hey, there's some men that will stop eating over a woman, and I keep saying that because I actually heard about this, and this is a true story, right? Stop eating over the woman, a man, and then kind of don't really want to do anything just in the house. Turn into a vegetable over the woman. And that's why you're not meant to desire a woman for her beauty or what she can bring to the table, right? Pertaining to if she's got like a house in order or she's driving a nice car. All these things you shouldn't really be wanting from a woman anyway. You want a woman of God, a woman that's humble, that's diligent, a woman that really wants you for who you are, that really likes you for you. You couldn't read that, brother.
First Esdras 4 and verse 26. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wit for woman.
Jeez, you can't tell me the Bible's not cold, you know. Man turn fool of the woman, you know. Right? There's certain songs that a man said, I'll die for the woman. I don't want to be alive without her. Or I don't want to know. Hey, we're gonna get into some of these videos as well. Right? What's that song Mario Winans? Or whatever his name is. I don't want to know. If you're creeping, keep it on the low. Right? What do you mean you don't want to know? So if she's sleeping with another man, you don't want to know about it. And this is what they push on our children, right? For them to grow up to be, oh yeah, she's doing what she's doing. Let her be her. Let her be free. A lot of these youths that are growing up now, they ain't got no type of mindset of what it is to be with a woman and how to have her covered up, how to have her set apart, right? That's your woman. She shouldn't be showing off the whole lot of bodies to everyone else, right? I remember we was talking to a young brother and he's with his woman, and we spoke to him. We told him that, and he disrespected it. And he said, "Yeah, no, for real." And she kind of zipped up her top, because obviously it's how you deliver the message as well. Also for those that are teachers, right? But again, they're not being taught that. That's your woman. Don't show her off to everyone, right? Kind of shouldn't really want to be around like everyone around her. All your friends shouldn't know her. Your friends shouldn't have her number. For what? Right? Let's get that again. First Edges 4 and 26.
Yea, many there be that have run out of their wit for woman, and become servant for their sake.
Yeah, my man just turned a vegetable for the woman, and become a servant for their sakes. So whatever she says, you do. She said jump, you say how high. Right? She Go on, brother. Go on, brother. There's so much you can
Many,
say. Let's go on, go on.
verse 27, many also have perished,
Have what?
have perished,
There's a
have
song where the man says, "I'll die for you." And I
gone.
don't believe this is the first song artists have made. There's other artists that have said that as well. I don't want to live if it's not with you. I don't want to be here if I can't be with you. There's literally another song where a rapper said, "If I can't have you, no one can." These are suicidal, psychotic things to say and behaviors, right? There's many more women in the world, right? A lot more women than men at that. It's for a reason. The scriptures say, if she depart, let her depart. There's some brothers that turn fool if their woman don't want to be with them no more, right? Turn fool, If she don't want to leave, listen, if she don't want to be with you, let her go. The Lord said through the mouth of Paul speaking his own words, right? If she depart, let her depart, right? But if she want to be reconciled, she want to come back. All praise to the Most High. You pray for that. We don't go begging, please let me in, please, right? Can't have 100 flowers outside, 100 Mexicans singing with the guitars, right? Madness. Obviously, you're trying to win her back. All praise to the Most High, but you're not begging. Let it be done decently and in order. And chiefly, she's meant to be reconciled to you. She's meant to return back to you if you do have a little break or whatever, right? Hey, the prophet Ezekiel kind of lost his wife, and the Lord said, "Don't cry," right? As we know, back then our men were a lot stronger. But hey, these things can happen, man. Right? She could leave, or something can happen, or whatever the case may be, right? But you still got to stay 10 toes for the Lord, man, and do what's right. For real, these are real stories, I'm telling you, man. Even from the Bible as well, right? Pertaining to Ezekiel, his wife actually died, right? These are things that actually happened, right? So yeah, you just got to be strong and understand that. Listen, the best person you can be is a person that knows how to operate by themselves. So when you're living with someone, you know what it's like to live with someone also as well. Not that you always know what it's like to live if you're just with someone. But yeah, man, obviously, but hey, I tell you this now, man, it's a cold game. I tell you this now, it's a cold life. And there's some women that's committed adultery, and the men or the man didn't know, right? And they kind of took it to the grave. I've heard some cold stories, right? Brother kind of went jail. She didn't. There's so many stories. Maybe he didn't go jail. Maybe he's just working too hard. He didn't give enough time. That's another thing as well. You got to kind of balance your life. Women need like time, right? There was a story where a woman kind of committed adultery with the painter, and she was married to a millionaire. Didn't have the time for her. You got to balance. The Lord said He deals with a just balance. Sometimes book annual leave. Sometimes call a sickie if you can, right? If you're not on probation, and just spend time with a woman, right? Not her twisting her hair, think, oh yeah, I didn't feel wanted, or he wasn't here, right? And that's no excuse again to commit adultery. But you have to give your woman time, right? So yeah, you gotta do what's right, man, because adultery is a big thing in our community. It's so big, it's unbelievable. And so is children as well. Let me get that again, Cap. Sorry for the long rant, man. It's a serious topic, Cap, though, man. Come on, it's a serious topic.
Many also have perished of her and sin for woman.
Jeez. That's self-explanatory, man. Right? So you ain't got to get into a long rant about that, man. But yeah, man, you got to know what you're doing. Right? You got to know what you're doing and just pray in our faith and be militant. You got to be militant to a certain extent. Be humble and kind. Don't be a lion in the house. Have a just balance. That's the best way I can put it. Right? The Lord says, set thine house in order. So whatever rules you have in your house that's pertaining to you, right? Set your own house in order. Let's go back to Sirach 9. And get some videos. Getting some videos. Sirach
Sirach
chapter
9 and verse 9. Sit not all with another man wife.
Say that again. So hold on. This isn't the King James Bible. What did the Lord say?
Sit not at all with another man wife.
What the hell are you doing sitting with another man's wife? That's a question I would ask. You see me, yeah. You see when I was growing up before this truth, yeah. I remember, yeah, when I think there was a time when I think it was either my friend or someone I knew. He must have got a girl's number, and I said, "There's no way I could ever talk to that woman." Like, I mean, you might say hello, whatever the case may be, but that's his woman. That's how my mindset was thinking. And even on another story, there was a time when someone didn't get a girl's number. Right, this is folly. This is back in our time before the truth, but it still applies to now. The guy didn't get the girl's number, and I couldn't go then and go and talk to that woman because he already tried. Some will say, "Oh, you're going too far now," but listen, for what? Right? Especially if it's my friend as well, right? And then it's gonna be awkward because like she can be around me, she gonna know that he's my friend X Y Z. There's too much. Basically, there's too much women in the world, basically, right? You lot should all be fighting over one woman, like these rappers do. They all deal with the same woman, right? Again, they're promoting that for children to see. Oh, just be free. It's okay. You can jump from one man to another man. You can do this. You can do that. Right? Have you not heard of soul ties or a woman acting like a man because she's laid down with him? And now she's kind of talking his slang. She's kind of acting like him. Where do you think that comes from? Right, she kind of likes Doritos now, right? Because he likes Doritos. Puts a spirit on you, get that person's spirit. You get the likeness of them, right? Come on, man. You got to, hey, and that's why there's laws, statutes, and commandments. We're still going to go back to Matthew. Remember, Christ said what he said. But listen, Sirach is saying similar. Because he said, don't think about another man's wife in your heart, paraphrasing greatly. In Sirach, he said, don't even sit down with another man's wife. Why the hell are you sitting with her, bro? Hey, it should be a hi and bye thing if you do say hello, right? Make it quick. Hi, you're right. Tell that brother to call me, please. Or don't even say that. Just say hi, right? Wherever the case may be. That's it. Go on. Make it short and sweet. There's nothing you need to talk to another man's wife about, except that if the husband asks you to ask her, or she asks, or whatever the case may be, it has to be something serious. Can't be asking, oh, how did you get your nails done? Or how's your hair now? Or what's going on with your work? There should be no idle talking. Hey, there's some serious brothers, yeah, that don't even let their woman like any man's picture. That's how serious it is. But again, as I said, it's down to that brother's household. The Lord says, set thine own house in order. You have your own rules, and that's how you conduct yourself. And you obviously let brothers know that this is where it is, this is where it ain't, X, Y, Z. You set up how it is in your household. Everyone's household is different. But adultery is no anyway, right? Certain things is no. Just that's it. Plain, right? Whatever you do regarding the little leeways regarding your wife and regarding your household, that's between you and the Most High and how you set up your household, right? Everyone runs the household different, but yeah, don't sit down with no man's wife, right? That's leading up to adultery. It's leading up to you wanting something. It's leading up to you getting too friendly, right? Let's get that again from the top.
Sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thine arm.
In thy what?
In thine arm.
You sure you're reading the Bible, King? You sure you're reading the Bible? Why have you got her in your arms? Now, again, there's some people that allow that in the household. Oh, it was just a hug. She was just being friendly, right? All your friends are blowing up your phone. You got 900 missed calls. I just saw a picture of her hugging someone, and the man had her in her arms, and they were laying back on a boat, right, with wine in the background. You sure that's your woman? I don't worry about it, man. She's taking a photo for a model picture, right? She's just on a work, as a brother said, she's just on a work she's just on a work program, right? They're going to the Bahamas because some people have actual jobs when they actually have to travel as well, right? So yeah, hey, there has to be order. Your woman should know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, right? Oh, it's just James, man, right? You're so insecure, right? Brothers and sisters, don't ignore the red flags. When someone shows you who they are from the beginning, believe them, right? If they're giving you too many yellow flags, that eventually has to turn into red, right? Don't just keep letting the yellow flags accumulate, right? After a while, that has to turn into one red. Even in football, you get 2 yellow cards as a red. Come on, man. We have to make sure we know who we're dealing with, because you can't expect adultery not to happen and she's living her best life and she's living free. I'm just living free, right? I can't remember that sister. I think her second name is called something Harvey, but she was moving from man to man, but she was pretty. Pretty sister. I was thinking, jeez. 1 minute she was Michael B. Jordan, next minute she was this guy, she was that guy. Something Harvey. Lori Harvey, I think. Yeah, Lori Harvey. Yeah. You know, I'm not really into these celebrities like that, but yeah. She jumping from man to man, but she was pretty. So, okay, because she's pretty now, you're just going to take a woman that's been jumping from man to man and she's promiscuous or whatever the case may be, or whatever they call it. That's why you don't desire a woman for her beauty. You can continue, bro.
Nor sit down with her in thine arm and spend not thine money with her at the wine.
Jeez. Bible's cold. We're going to hold that there, yeah? I actually want to go into some video. Give the brother a break, man. Break. If I'm not mistaken, you just said don't sit with her at the wine. Jeez. And that's why these things are written for our learning. So if you brothers that are simple, that know no better, you shouldn't be drinking wine with another woman or with another man's wife. That's what you do with your woman, a woman that you're proving, a woman that you're engaged to. So if you do end up laying down with her, hey, you can't blame it on the liquor or can't blame it on the wine, as Jamie Foxx said. That will now be your wife. But how could it be your wife if it's another man's wife and you're drinking with her? Jeez. Right, Laurie Harvey, boyfriend list. Now, some of this could be that people just made up and fans, but we know she was with quite a few men. And the sisters will say, oh, you go, girl. The sisters in the world will say, you go, girl. Live your best life. Madness.
Have you met your special girl's dad? Because
Lori Harvey is a famous American model, known for her successful modeling career. She has worked with such luxury brands as Dolce & Gabbana, Hermes, and Chanel. Lori is a stepdaughter of Steve Harvey, a popular American TV host, comedian, and actor. As for the love life of the model, here's what we managed to find out. We beg you will be surprised. Memphis Depay, 2016 through 2018. Harvey and the Dutch soccer player were in a relationship for a year and a half when they got engaged. The two seemed to be very happy, and the model's stepfather was fully supporting their romance. But a year later, everything ended between them. After the breakup, Memphis created a song about Lori. Trey Songs, 2018 through 2019. At the end of the year, Harvey was spotted hanging out together with rapper Trey Songs. At the beginning of 2019, she confirmed their romance. It happened a month before their split. Harvey and Songs remained friends. Lewis Hamilton, 2019. Later, the model was seen with British racing driver Lewis Hamilton. They were making out over Super Bowl weekend. Neither Lewis nor Lori addressed the rumors about their possible fling. P. Diddy, 2019. Then, Harvey was rumored to have an affair with rapper P. Diddy. The man stated that the two were just friends, but they were spotted spending time very cozy together. By the fall, everyone stopped talking about their love story. It happened after P. Diddy was seen with another lady. Future, 2019 through 2020. When Future posted a photo of Lori on his Instagram stories, it became known about a new romance of the model. The two were together for around 8 months, but then their relationship was over. The reason for the couple's split is unknown. They just unfollowed each other on their social media and deleted their photos together. Michael B. Jordan, 2020 through present time. In the fall of 2020, we all started to envy Lori as she was rumored to have a romance with People's Sexiest Man Alive, Michael B. Jordan. And we were not wrong. These two are really an item. In January of 2021, the model and the Black Panther star officially confirmed their relationship. The couple shared a series of joint romantic photos. In the pictures, Michael and Lori were hugging, kissing, and fooling around surrounded by New Year's decorations. Jordan was always very secretive, and almost nothing was known about his personal life until he and Lori were seen stepping out of the plane together on the eve of Thanksgiving. Previously, he was seen with Kendall Jenner, but their story was rather short, so only time will tell if this is serious or not. Do you want to see more? Subscribe.
Right. So a woman like that, I mean, the only thing you could do is tell her to repent, and that the next man that she lays down with would be her husband. But that's not really the type of woman you really want to be with, unless she's willing to change. Right. But from the history and the list, but that's at your own risk, innit? If you want to still make her your wife. But she's shown so many signs of being with different men and moving. Not all of them might not have been in a relationship with her, but for the most part, a lot of them were. And this is not what we should be promoting for our children. And also, it can lead to adultery because you might be with her and she might say, you know what, we had an argument, so I'm going to go out with the friends. I got drunk, and this is what happened. I was at someone's house. These things can happen. Because what? You didn't take the time to prove that person, do a history check, kind of got to do a CRB on them. You got to make sure you're doing the proper homework to make sure you're not in a marriage with someone and then you get told that she's committed adultery, or she tells you, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do it. She committed adultery. Got to avoid these things. Let me get a video quickly because I do want to show you how some men can be regarding their women actually committing adultery and them still wanting to stay there, basically. This is what I saw when I was growing up. And thank God I had an older brother that said, boy, why would you not want to know? To instruct me being a child, a younger generation than him. And yeah, that's nothing normal. But they put these music videos out there for our children to be acceptive of a woman committing adultery, or even of a man committing adultery. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. And don't get me wrong, boy, that was a tune that a lot of us used to nod our heads to. We can't cap, we can't say we was in the world, innit? But this is what they show our children, and this is what adults will see and say, rah, is there men out there that say they don't want to know? Boy, let me see if I can do it with my husband. I'll see if I can do it with my, or whatever the case may be. Art imitated life, innit? And people think, boy, let me get away with it. I ain't gonna say that. But from the things that my mum was doing in that video, in a bath and almost trying to kill herself, and the subliminal messages they're sending us, right? People that are married and our children as well, that, boy, if you can't keep her, then you might have to commit suicide. Even going back to Tom and Jerry, not to sidetrack, but there was an episode when I believe it was Tom, he couldn't get the girl and he was sitting in a train track, and Jerry was like saying, snap out of it, what are you doing? Until Jerry saw someone, like the mouse being Jerry, that he liked, and then after a while she didn't really want him no more, and then he kind of like nudged Tom to say, move down, let's both go on the train track and commit suicide. This is what we was watching when we was young. So madness. You don't commit suicide if the woman don't want to be with you, or if she commits adultery. You move on, right? It's easier said than done. Because again, the scriptures that say a man can, you understand, kill the other man and do certain things because obviously, boy, you lay down with his woman in it. You just seen red. Nothing against that man for doing that. That's his woman in it. But at the same time, logically, you don't want to be doing 25 to life. But the rage of a man in it when his woman's committing adultery could cause him to kill the man and maybe even kill the woman. But that's how serious it is. Adultery is serious, right? And yeah, man, hey, don't want to be simping like that guy. Puff Daddy and Mario Wines. All right, let me get the book of uh Hebrews 13:4. Right. And I'm gonna say this a lot. There's a lot of men that turn a blind eye to them type of stuff. Right? Or they just don't know. They just don't know. Let me say that. Men just don't know about it.
Hebrew 13 and verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremonger and adulterer God will judge.
Yeah, the Lord's gonna judge those people. Yeah, you ain't got away. It's in the Ten Commandments for a reason. A lot. It's a lot. Adultery serious. You catch diseases, bring children from another man, and that man. And that's another thing as well. There's a lot of men got children, and they find out years later that the child wasn't theirs. So many things we can talk about regarding that. So many. Right? It just goes on and on and on. That's why adultery is one of the most serious things you can do. Even in the world, they say, are you a cheater? And if some people hear you're a cheater, they don't even want nothing to do with you. That's how serious adultery is. Right? Let me get the book of Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 22. Right, get a couple more videos, a couple more precepts on this wind down on this subject. And all praise to the Most High, able to merge children and adultery into one. All praise to the Most High.
Deuteronomy 22 and verse 22. If a man be found laying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall
So like it,
both.
and you notice, yeah, when we read Leviticus 20 and 10 and Deuteronomy 22 and 22, the Lord's always showing us adultery from a man's perspective. From a man is him laying down with another woman who's promised or who's married to another man. But you read it again from the top. I just made that clear.
If a man be found laying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die.
The Lord said, both of you don't got to die, you got to dead, because that shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be with another woman who's with another man or who's married to another man at all. There's no that type of excuse. I didn't mean it, or it was just playing kiss and chase or whatever. There's no reason. The Lord said you shall die. This is plain. Can continue, bro.
Both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put away evil from Israel.
Yeah, that's evil, man. Put that away from Israel. Let me get Proverbs 6 and 29, but I want it in the NLT. I'm going to pull up on the screen now. Proverbs 6 and 29. Oh, sorry. Right, so Proverbs 6 and 29, but you know what? You can start from 26. So Proverbs 6 and 26. If you can see the screen, it's on the screen.
Can.
Oh, Proverbs 6 and 26.
Proverbs 6 and verse 26. For a prostitute will bring you to poverty.
Right, that's plain.
But sleeping with another man's wife will cost you your life.
Cold cut. You want to sleep with another man's wife, it's going to cost you your life. As I said again, there's some man who see red, and they're not wrong for that, right? Because you can't, the scriptures say also in Proverbs, you can't pay a man any ransom once you lay down with his wife. You only want your life. You don't want no money, right? So if you sleep with another man's wife, a possibility, an outcome could be you losing your life, right? There's a story I heard, even chiefly from my dad, right? That, hey, there's a man that committed adultery, right, with another man's wife, and the man snuck inside the house while they were in the act. And we know the act is punishable by death, but under the grace of Christ, there's mercy in it. Right? So the man put petrol all around the door, lit up the house, and killed both of them in the house. Cold. But hey, the Lord said it's going to cost you your life. Right? Go on, King.
Can a man scoop a flame into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire?
Impossible. Impossible. A lot of these translations just help out the breaking down of the scriptures as well. Right? We know some of them they took out verses. Obviously, they're not the ones you want to go to regarding certain books and chapters, but the ones that are not taken out, hey, it kind of helps out the explanation and the understanding of what the scripture is saying. You can continue, bro.
Verse 28, can he walk on hot coal and not blister his feet?
Rhetorical question.
Can he walk on hot coal and not blister his feet?
Come on.
29, so it is with the man who slept with another man's wife. He who embrace her will not go unpunished.
Yeah, man, there's a punishment for sleeping with another man's wife. Right? You can lose your life. Hey, if you survive, you'll be ashamed. Men wouldn't even want you nowhere near their woman. They'll put a restraining order on you. Right? Your name's bad. Right? You're the man that slept with another man's wife. No good. Bad name. Right? These are the things we've got to understand, we've got to realize, man. Right? When you read the book of Ecclesiastes 7:1, we ain't got to get. Right, so let's get into the video. And I think we kind of called it a day after a while. Right, while I'm getting a video, can you get 1 Corinthians 14 and 40?
Done.
Order.
Corinthians 14 and verse 40. Let all things be done decently and in order.
Yeah, that's fine. Let all things be done decently and in order. We're going to play this video now. Where is it?
And Allah will ask on the day of judgment, who?
There's an old joke about the seventh commandment, do not commit adultery. Moses comes down from Mount Sinai and announces, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that I got him down to 10. The bad news is that adultery stays. The joke is telling. The prohibition on a married person having sexual relations with anyone except his or her spouse may be, for many people, the most consistently difficult of the 10 commandments to observe. The reasons shouldn't be hard to guess. One is the enormous power of the sex drive. It can be very hard to keep in check for the entirety of one's marriage, especially when an attractive outsider makes him or herself sexually or romantically available. Another reason is the human desire to love and be loved. For normal people, there is no more powerful emotion than love. If one falls in love with someone while married, it takes great effort not to commit adultery with that person. And if we add in the unfortunate circumstance of a loveless marriage, adultery becomes even more difficult to resist. That's why the joke with which I began is funny, because it reflects truth. Why is adultery prohibited in the Ten Commandments? Because, like the other 9, it is indispensable to forming and maintaining higher civilization. Adultery threatens the very building block of the civilization that the Ten Commandments seeks to create. That building block is the family, a married father and mother and their children. Anything that threatens the family unit is prohibited in the Bible. Adultery is one example. Not honoring one's father and mother is another. And the prohibition on injecting any sexuality into the family unit, incest, is a third example. Why is the family so important? Because without it, social stability is impossible. Because without it, the passing on of society's values from generation to generation is impossible. Because commitment to a wife and children makes men more responsible and mature. Because more than anything else, family meets most women's deepest emotional and material needs. And nothing comes close to the family in giving children a secure and stable childhood. And why does adultery threaten the family? The most obvious reason is that sex with someone other than one spouse can all too easily lead to either or both spouses leaving the marriage. Adultery should not automatically lead to divorce, but it often does. There is another reason adultery can destroy a family. It can lead to pregnancy and then to the birth of a child. That child will, in almost all cases, start out life with no family, meaning no father and mother married to each other to call his or her own. And if adultery doesn't destroy a family, it almost always does terrible harm to a marriage. Aside from the sense of betrayal and loss of trust that it causes, it means that the adulterous partner lives a fraudulent life. When a husband or wife is having sex with someone other than their spouse, their thoughts are constantly about that other person and about how to deceive their spouse. The life of deception that an adulterous affair necessarily entails inevitably damages a marriage, even if the betrayed spouse is unaware of the affair. Finally, the commandment prohibiting adultery doesn't come with an asterisk saying that adultery is okay if both spouses agree to it. Spouses who have extramarital sex with the permission of their husband or wife may not necessarily be hurting their spouse's feelings, but they are still harming the institution of marriage. And protecting the family, not protecting spouses from emotional pain, is the reason for the commandment. Many marriages, sadly, are troubled, and it is not for any of us to stand in judgment of others' behavior in this realm. No one knows what goes on in anyone else's marriage, and if we did, we might often well understand why one or the other sought love outside the marriage. But no higher civilization can be made or can endure that condones adultery. That is why it is prohibited. That is why it is prohibited in the Ten Commandments. I'm Dennis Prager. Join Prager University. Subscribe.
Yeah, so that explains adultery from a heathen mindset. And yeah, we know adultery is wrong. Can't be doing these things. Let me get 2 more and I'll wrap it up. Let me get the book of 1 Corinthians 6 and 18. 1 Corinthians 6 and 18.
First Corinthians 6 and verse 18. Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body. But he that committed fornication sinneth against his own body.
Yeah, so if you want to commit fornication, you want to start laying around, doing all type of madness, laying with the same sex, laying with animals, lusting and doing all type of lasciviousness, you're sinning against your whole body, right? A man and a woman should be together. You do what's required of you as a man and a woman, and yeah, flee adultery, fornication, all these things. Right? When we read 1 Corinthians 6 and 9, to all these, you're not going to enter the kingdom of heaven. Seems we're in 1 Corinthians. Let's get 1 Corinthians 6 and 9 first.
1 Corinthians 6 and verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh? But be not deceived, neither fornicator, nor adulterer, nor effeminate, nor abuser of themselves with mankind.
Yeah. These are things we've got to understand, we've got to realize, man. No adulterers are going to enter the kingdom of heaven, man. Oh, that's unrighteousness. Right? Let's get Numbers 5 and verse. Let's start from 11.
Book of Numbers 5 and verse 11.
Go.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man wife go aside and commit a trespass against him, and a man lie with her carnally, and it be hid from the eyes of her husband.
If that can happen, the husband might not know that the woman's laid down with someone else. She laid down with another man carnally. Can happen, man. The Lord will put that spirit on you to say, rah, you said you was at the bingo the other night. Things are not going to add up, put it that way. All right? Go on, King.
And be kept close, and she be defiled, and there be no witness against her, neither she be taken with the manner.
She thinks she got away scot clean. This is how serious our power is. He's gonna make you think about certain things. And it's not gonna feel right. You're gonna question certain things. Right? And you're gonna come to conclusion that something don't add up. Right? One and one don't make three. And you're gonna answer certain questions. Go on, King.
Verse 14. And the spirit of jealousy come up on him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled. Or if the spirit of jealousy come up on him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled.
So it can happen twofold. You can be jealous of her and she didn't do nothing. She's not defiled. Or you can be jealous of her and she did do something. She is defiled. Come on.
Then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest, and he shall bring her offering for her the 10th part of an ephah, and barley meal. He shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense thereon. For it is an offering of jealousy, an offering of memorial, bringing an iniquity to remembrance.
Bringing the sin to remembrance if she did sin. Come on.
And the priest shall bring her near and set her before the Lord. And the priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel, and of the dust that is in the floor of the tabernacle, the priest shall take and put it into the water. Verse 18. And the priest shall set the woman before the Lord, and uncover the woman's head, and put the offering of memorial in her hand,
That's proving that women always used to have their head covered. Right, go on, okay.
Which is the jealousy offering. And the priest shall have in his hand the bitter water that causeth the curse.
Right, going to cause a curse. We're going to see what the curse is in verse 22. Go on.
And the priest shall charge her by an oath, and say unto the woman, If no man have lain with thee, And if thou art not gone inside to uncleanness with another instead of the husband, be thou free from this bitter water that causeth the curse. Verse 20, but if thou art gone inside to another instead of thy husband, and if thou be defiled, and some man have lain with thee beside thy husband, then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing, and the priest shall say unto the woman, the Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people, when the Lord does make thy thigh to rot and thy belly to swell. Verse 22, and the waters that causeth the curse shall go into thy belly, but thy bowel, to make thy belly to swell, and thy thigh to rot. And the woman shall say, Amen, Amen.
Okay, fine. So let's get that in the NLT now from verse 21. Right. From verse 21. Because it wouldn't make sense for her thigh just to rot. Where is it going into? Down there, downstairs. For her not being able to bring forth children. That's how serious our Lord is. You're going to commit adultery, you're going to bring him to the priest, and you're going to lie and make an oath, rather than you just telling the truth. The Lord's going to make him fertile. Right? So Numbers 5 and 21 at the NLT. It's on the screen, King.
Yeah, number 5 and verse 21 from the NLT. At this point, the priest must put the woman under oath by saying, may the people know that the Lord curse is upon you when he make you infertile, causing your womb to shiver, and your abdomen to swell.
Right, your abdomen to swell. Come on.
And your abdomen to swell. Now, may the water that bring the curse enter your body and cause your abdomen to swell and your womb to shiver.
Jeez.
And the woman will be required to say, yes, let it be so. And
that
the priest,
so be it. And that's, amen, this means so be it. Right? And the priest shall what?
And the priest will write these curses on a piece of leather and wash them off into the bitter water. He will make the woman drink the bitter water that bring on the curse. When the water enter her body, it will cause bitter suffering if she is guilty.
Yeah, if she's guilty. So yeah, this is a count of going into if the woman's committed adultery or if she hasn't committed adultery, man. Right, you can continue on, bro.
The priest will take the jealousy offering from the woman and lift it up before the Lord and carry it to the altar. He will take a handful of the flour as a token portion and burn it on the altar, and he will require the woman to drink the water. If she has defiled herself by being unfaithful to her husband, the water that bring on the curse will cause the bitter suffering. Her abdomen will swell and her womb will shrink, and her name will become a curse among her people.
See that? So you have a bad name, and then your womb will shrink, so you won't be able to bring forth children. Right? So when you read in the KJV, it says a fire is gonna swell and her belly's gonna rot. That's what it's going into. It's not gonna bring forth no children. That's gonna be a curse upon her. Right, go on.
But if she has not defiled herself and is pure, then she will be unarmed and will still be able to have children.
Whoa. That's how serious our power is. Right? And that's how serious adultery is. And that's how serious children is. Right? All working one another. Right? You want to commit adultery, you're not going to bring forth no children. Right? So yeah, you might as well finish off. You at the end. You might as well finish off.
This is ritual law for dealing with suspicion. If a woman goes astray and defile herself while under her husband's authority.
Proving that a marriage between a
Verse,
man and a woman, you're under the husband's authority. You become a helpmeet, sorry, right? To your
verse
husband.
30.
Go on.
Verse 30. Or if a man become jealous and is suspicious that his wife has been unfaithful, the husband must present his wife before the Lord, and the priest will apply this enter ritual law to her. The husband will be innocent of any guilt in this matter, but his wife will be held accountable for her sin.
Yeah, man. So if the husband does make it or does accuse and he's wrong, he's gonna be innocent of any guilt in the matter. But if she has done something, then she can be accountable for her sin, and that accountability will be her not having children and her name being a curse. So yeah, that's just plain. So all praise to the Most High. We'll wrap this up. Let me get Luke 16 and 18. We'll wrap this up. Praise to the Most High. Be careful with married women, short convos or no convos, and the children. It's beautiful to have children, man, if it be the Lord's will.
Luke 16 and verse 18. And it reads, whosoever putteth away his wife and married another committed adultery, and whosoever married her that is put away from her husband committed adultery.
One more time, King. One more time.
Whosoever, verse 18, whosoever putteth away his wife and married another committed adultery, and whosoever married her that is put away from her husband committed adultery.
And remember us talking about earlier how you got to inquire properly if a woman's married or not, right? Because she could be someone that's already married to someone, or she's been put away, right? And as you know, until the husband dies, she can't remarry, right? So you got to understand these things. They're written for our learning. And if you're not sure about something, pray, maybe seek counsel, maybe ask questions. These are the things we've got to understand and we've got to realize, man. Right. Let me get a closing precept. You know what I want. Acts 26 and 18. I appreciate everyone jumping on the Zoom. It's been my time, Brother Deval. Hopefully, if one person was edified, one person wrote down notes or precepts, learning, was in the spirit even. All praise to the Most High. Done my job. Acts 26 and 18.
Acts 26 and verse 18. To open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light, and from the power of Satan unto Yahweh, that they might receive forgiveness of sin and inheritance among them which are sanctified by faith that is in me.
That is in who?
Me.
That is in me, man. The faith that is in Yahweh Shai. That's all in red writing. So all praise to the Most High. I appreciate everyone joining. Father, brother, captain for being a mighty reader. All praise to the Most High. Father for the sister for writing all the precepts. Mighty scribe. Appreciate everyone for joining the lesson. Hope it was edified and you learned something new. Hey, we all need each other. All we got. We are the Israelites. Love your brothers yourself and love the Most High with your heart, mind, and soul. With that, I say shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.